Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fast Family League Showdown here at Mid-Ohio. Tonight, however, we put aside the tournament and we are gathering on a somber note for one of our own in this community. We have two leagues coming together for a wonderful friend to honor J. Lee Cox Jr., aka GRM Joker 93, who passed away this weekend. Carolina Racing League and Sprite Cup Series, which was home to GRM Joker, among other leagues, will join together tonight and race in memory of GRM Joker. I ask you to please take a moment to remember him and say a prayer for his family and friends. I do want to introduce Slide Job, who is in charge of this tournament, and he's also gathered everyone for tonight's race in memory of GRM Joker. So, Slide Job, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Obviously could be better, but given the circumstances, I'm really happy with the response. We definitely didn't expect this, especially in the middle of a tournament in which our dear friend, participated in, and we had a lot of fun, racing and just practicing overall for this. And yeah, it kind of hit us all as a surprise, obviously, and we've been trying to do the best we can. And on top of all that, we had a team DQ'd this weekend as well, just before the race. So we've been scrambling to put things together, and I really want to shout out to Carolina Racing League. They definitely wanted to continue to put on a race for the fans, especially that's we all feel that's the way Joker would want it. Not to stop racing for him. He would want us to keep racing as we always did. So we came together and had the idea that we could bring the team that was eliminated earlier in the round, in which he raced for and led in points and performance, along with some of his closest friends, including myself, to come together and put on this exhibition race. Obviously Carolina Racing League will be moving on to the next round, but we wanted to put on a great show for not only the fans but for him, and have some fun, and maybe we can give some awareness to we are putting together a collection for his family to help them out through this time. We have a GoFundMe set up if you want to help us out with that. We have links in the Heat community pages, or you can reach out to myself, Mr. Slidejob 1996, or Ford Tough 82. We can help you out with that. But yeah, it's we're doing the best we can to get through this, and yeah, we just ask everybody to remember him and keep his family and friends in your thoughts this week.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. And from what I've heard about Joker 93 is that he was quite the character. Very fun-loving guy, very talented in his skills on the track. So it was cool to get to hear some stories about him that I saw on Facebook. I'm just really sorry to all his friends and family that have lost him over this weekend. Sounds like, such a precious person, and I'm just really sorry to hear that.
Absolutely, yeah. He was definitely one of the most lighthearted racers I've ever met. No matter, how bad his race was going, he always had a joke or something to make us all laugh about. One of the funnier things I remember him ever saying was, one time we were at, I can't remember what track it was, but it was one of his worst, and, he said, guys, I got a new sponsor today. And we were like, what's that, Joker? And he's like, I'm sponsored by Waste Management because this car is garbage. And I just started dying. But that was the thing about him. He, no matter how bad the situation, he always found, the light and could make a joke out of it, and made us all laugh a little bit. He never forgot. Him and one of our other friends even gave me the nickname Down Low Oops, because one time I got underneath him and I washed up the track a little bit and put him in the wall, and he says, "There goes Down Low Oops again." And, that was just him.
Right.
And yeah, he will really be missed. Even though Me and Ford and a couple other of his friends, never got to meet him. We had plans to, but things just didn't happen that way. But even though we didn't get to meet in person, he left a huge impact on our lives, and we can't ignore that at all.
Absolutely.
And we'll be cherishing his memory throughout all of the races that we do in the future.
Absolutely. All right, I think that we had BHD Money in the booth, so welcome to the booth. I'm glad to have you. This will be my first race announcing with you, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, Slide Job. Should we get to the national anthem here?
Yeah, let's get to the pre-race ceremonies.
All right. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think these guys are pretty much ready to hit the track for qualifying, so we should be getting ready to go soon. Money, what kind of experience do you have on Mid-Ohio that we're hitting here tonight?
To be honest, I do not have a lot of experience at this track. It's not something I really seek out to race on a consistent basis, but from what I've heard from people that do race here consistently, they seem to have a very good time with it. It seems to be a fairly fast course, so hopefully these guys can keep it together and have some fun.
Absolutely, and it's all coming together for Jay Lee, which was an amazing character, quite the jokester from what I hear. So tonight is about having fun and racing in memory of a dear friend. But tonight, let's talk about it. It's 100% race tonight, guys. Very, very technical track. So these guys are going to have to be on it. It's 85 laps. We have 22 for stage 1, 19 for stage 2, and around 43 for the final. These guys only get about 6 laps of fuel, so they're going to have to make several pit stops tonight. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see these guys gather and take on this track tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys manage their tires around this course. 6 laps, a lot of turns. They got to make sure they last that full fuel run in order to make some good scheduled stops.
It's so true, and I feel like turn 2 is going to be the big one. You know, you start early on this track and you make that left-hander. When you come around that long straight and you take that right-hander out there, it's by the keyhole. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys take it, but we'll find out. Right now they're getting ready to go to qualifying, so it should be very interesting, but it's going to be a long night for these guys. A lot of these guys, let's take a look at the drivers here tonight. You can see it from the track. We have Cobra in the number 2 with Dill Pickle in the number 3, and this is for Carolina Racing. We have Expert Toaster in that 4 with Slide Job in the 5. In the 8 car, we have HD Yee, I think that's how you say it. We have Turbo Charger in the 11 with JT Hyde 1994 in the 14. There's quite a lot of drivers out there. You guys see it right there, but a lot of 98 cars for that are going to be on the track tonight. So take a look at that. Dill Pickle is a great name. I want to thank everyone in the chat also for coming out tonight. I know it means a lot to everybody, and I know a lot of you guys were friends with him, so I really do appreciate it, and I know he would also. All right, hopefully we can get something from Slide Job and see when they're going to qualifying, but it's going to be interesting to see the times here tonight that we can get. Combat, this is
we are
for
almost
Joker.
ready.
Okay, yeah, just let me know. We're good to go here, so. We have a lot of guys out there, but it's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, 85 laps tonight, 22 for the first stage, 19 for the second, 43 for the last stage there. 6 laps is not a long time, I'm telling you. So like Money said, you do have to save the tires, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they race with that. And I know once those tires go, you do get very loose out there, so we might see some contact. I know Carolina Racing, they will be moving on, since what Slide Job said earlier, that the team they were going against did get DQ'd, but since the events that have happened over the weekend, Sprite wanted to come in and race for their teammate, their friend. So it's going to be an exciting, a somber race tonight. So it's just so many emotions going in tonight, Money.
Oh yeah, I expect to see Sprite coming out, guns blazing. These first few laps, just try to make their dear friend proud. I expect this to be a very competitive race, even though, again, CRL will still be advancing to the next round, but I expect this to be a very, very competitive race. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I know we have a couple of guys out there. Let me know who you are rooting on for tonight. We have some guys for out there in CRL and Sprite, so a lot of these guys are super fast out there, so I'm excited to see who might get the win tonight. But all in all, this is just a fun racing in memory for a dear friend, but it's going to be pretty fun. Absolutely.
I forgot to mention too, for the fans, you'll see me driving the 5, and a lot of people are like, what are you doing that? You're the 88 driver. And I'm actually driving one of Joker's cars from his first home league, IVRL. It was his main car throughout that league for a long time, and one of his closest friends, I'm Batman, can't be here tonight for the race, wanted to run that car because it was one of his better known cars, so I told him I would run that in place. So when you see me around in that 5, some of those IVRL guys might remember it.
That's pretty cool. Can you tell us about the 98?
Yes, so the 98 is special because his other home league, Fast Family Racing League, why a lot of us are really good friends with him, that was his first number in Fast Family Racing. He was a National Series or Xfinity Series driver for us all throughout the summer and early or late in the spring, and that was his number throughout that season.
Very interesting, yeah.
And,
so it's really cool to see that out there.
Yeah, and I believe Ford Tough is running another one of his cars in a couple other leagues. He ran the 55, so you'll see Ford Tough tonight in that one. So you're going to see a couple of his different cars throughout this race. It'll be pretty cool.
That is actually very cool. All right, we are ready to go. Just waiting for these guys to give us the green light for qualifying. After qualifying, they will head on to the race. Here we go. I'm very curious who's going to be one of the faster guys out there. You can see the field right here, but let's go to qualifying. These guys do single car qualifying, if I'm not mistaken, even for tonight. So we're going to get to see these guys individually go out there.
Yep, and it's their last opportunity to get adjusted to this racetrack and hopefully lay down a fast lap and get a good qualifying position.
Absolutely. Here they go, lining up to get ready to go. We have Mr. Slide Job out there in that 5, as he was speaking about earlier. What's going to be interesting is once we hit the race, you got to remember a lot of these guys have not raced together. So this is going to be the first time that they are on track. And when you have this many people, it can be very interesting. So there's going to be a lot of give and take tonight. Just with everything that's coming together, it's just going to be a very exciting, an exciting race. And it's just going to be something to remember for a friend. Let's take a ride with Mr. Slide Job 1996. These guys are pacing, and also during the race they are going to pace in memory of him. So that will be happening for the first lap of the race here at Mid-Ohio. But if you guys know anything about Mid-Ohio, it is a very technical track. There's not a lot of room for forgiveness here. I mean, a lot of people, this is the turn I was talking about, the right-hander right at the keyhole. That's not the keyhole. We're going through the S's right now. But yeah, for the first right-hand turn, it can get very, very interesting, and it can be very hard to handle if you over-accelerate that turn.
Definitely, you're going to be seeing some guys either take advantage of those S curves, and some guys backing off to avoid any mistakes. It'll be interesting to see how these guys will be racing through these corners.
For sure. I can't wait to see what these guys can do. Bob Jim Joe Bob says Mid-Ohio makes me cry. We have others like J Mac and MGC Mike, who says it's their favorite road course. I like it. I'll tell you what, I got J-Mac taught me how to drive here, taught me like all about the track and how to take the turns, so it's really cool to see it ran here. If it weren't for J-Mac, I would be absolutely even more terrible than I already am here.
Sure, you could not be any more terrible than I would be at this track.
We'll have to see about that one of these days. Rowdy Bush, what's up? These guys are starting to pull over to take their qualifying lap around. I would imagine they're probably going to get 2 laps for qualifying. They are lining it up in order to send them out. We'll see if we can get... We're going to be on board with CRL Sam. He is the owner of Carolina Racing League, if I'm not mistaken, so he will be going out on track, and we'll see him take it through here. This is the right-hander I was talking about, guys. It can be a doozy if you are not prepared for it, especially if you're going too wide into the turn at the start of the race. Very high speed back here, so it's going to be a lot for these guys to handle. Some of these guys are doing this race last second, so it's going to be very interesting. But he seems to have a handle on it so far as he's hitting through the S's right now.
Yeah, I took that turn a little bit wide, trying to correct you to get back into that third S.
He's coming around the corner. We should be hitting, looks like around the carousel right here, if I'm not mistaken. This track is so incredibly long. It's insane. So there's a lot that can go wrong on the track, and he is going through the grass right now. Definitely not going to hurt his, it's definitely going to hurt his qualifying efforts here, but tonight is all in fun and of memory of a friend. So the officials, they're not going to take everything so seriously tonight and be hard as they would in a normal situation here. But there is his first lap around, and we'll be seeing him take his hot lap right here.
Coming into that first corner, nice and smooth going around. So far, so good, as he's going to get back up to speed.
We have Bob Jim Joe Bob. He asks, why is it done like this and not like single player where everyone is in the pits? I've never seen it online before. You know, when leagues decide to do single car qualifying, it's just ran completely different. They don't have qualifying online, so we pretty much have to make our own qualifying. And when you do single car, you have to make sure you run an entire lap around, otherwise the game will kick you out. So you have to run the lap around. You have to make sure you do it slowly so you don't have a faster lap than you should. And you just line everybody up and let them go one at a time.
Yep, I'd say that's one of the best ways to do that in a league setting. There are some leagues out there that do heat races, and the fastest lap of that race would determine your qualifying position. But I do like this format a lot better than the heat race format.
I hear you. We have Turbocharger having a rough time going through the grass. He narrowly misses the wall for qualifying, but that is going to hurt his qualifying efforts. He might even, yeah, I think he's getting a penalty right there for being off track. But a lot of these guys are kind of bunched up together, but we're going to see these guys come back and line up behind so that the rest of the guys can go, and it looks like the last guy is out for qualifying. You see the dill pickle in the number 3, he is back. The 11 is back. Let's take a look at the 4 of Expert Toaster. This should be the final part of his qualifying efforts, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he is also finished. I'm curious who's going to have the fastest. There's a lot of new faces in here for me tonight, at least, so I'm curious who's going to have the fastest in qualifying. Do you know a lot of people in here, Money?
I do not. I'd say the only person I know in this field is Mr. Slide Job for obvious reasons.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to get to know some of these guys and see what their racing tendencies are. As I'm watching Bradius 963 go off track a little bit as he's coming around at what appears to be one of his final turns.
Most of these guys have finished. We do have a couple that are still left on track that are coming around. A couple of guys going one more lap around as we head through the track here, but you see Mr. Slide Job going through the turn. Looks like he's going to be making another lap. This should be the final lap for everybody. So it should be coming to a close, but man, oh man, good practice for these guys as they get ready to head out on track for the real thing here. 100%, so it's going to be a long night, guys. A lot of time. You got to take your time. It's technical. Make sure you hit all your marks and just get the job done.
And I would say the reason why these races are 100%, one, this is an Xfinity track, so the mileage is a lot slower. The mileage is smaller than what you would see in a regular cup race. And two, just trying to there's fewer laps, so therefore getting everybody back in line and back on the grid in a timely fashion is really important.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can find these guys. We have the Bradius 9 and the custom 98 car, so he looks like he is, going in the grass. He's coming back on track. We'll see him and how he makes up some time, hopefully.
Yeah, he's definitely been struggling this entire lap. Some corners it looks like he's just not hitting his brake points right and not getting the right entry.
Well, we have a guy who is really good at Mid-Ohio. I want to bring in J-Mac. J-Mac Attack, he is a Pro League driver, just finished off of Season 2. J-Mac, can you tell us a little bit about Mid-Ohio here? If there's a guy that can tell you anything, this is it right here.
Mid-Ohio is an awesome track. It is a fast track, has some fast parts, some heavy braking parts, some really technical parts, and it is incredibly tough on a perfectly curated setup. On these presets, where the drivers have a lot less to work with until that first pit stop, this is a very tough place to get around. We saw that they're riding along with Bradius 9. Really, there are so many places on this track. There's a lot of elevation change, a lot of dips and crests all throughout the track, especially through the S's where it's really easy to break traction. You get on the throttle, the rear end just wants to come around on you, and that's exacerbated by the fact that you don't really have a lot of adjustment options. Really, the rear tires, you can make some adjustments there. The wedge, you can make some tiny adjustments if your balance is different in the left and right handers, and you need to move it different ways for those corners. But otherwise, you kind of got what you got. You just want to make sure that you're comfortable. A lot of that road course racing is just being consistent and not really driving it, keeping it off the green stuff and on the gray stuff.
I mean, I don't think I could said it any better than what you just did right there. I tell you guys, he is an expert here. He taught me how to race here. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering I'm still not great. But yeah, he's definitely a master at road courses, and looks like Slide Job is finishing out qualifying so that we can head to the right race. But these guys look pretty good. There's a couple of guys that were struggling just a little bit. You can see Slide Job trying to make his way through a little bit of traffic there as they're on track, but as J-Mac said, very technical, a lot to look out for. There's some adjustments you can do on pit road tonight, but there's not going to be a ton that you can do to make it much better compared to actual custom setups here.
If you'd like, we could maybe do a lap around the track and show the fans what it looks like maybe from a driver's perspective.
I'm on board with you right
Timer
now.
hasn't gone on yet. Okay, cool. We had a little traffic to get through there, but
I saw that.
As soon as I get to the line, I can, little bit of wigglers out there. But yeah, as soon as I get back to the line, I'll give a little tour of Mid-Ohio. It's definitely a really cool track. I think it's one of those road courses where you're always shifting and braking, so it's way more technical than maybe a Watkins Glen. So we're going to start here. You're setting up to get a good launch through these last two corners so you can full throttle it down the straightaway into fourth gear. You're going to be hitting a braking zone, really hard braking zone, making sure to stay on the right of that rumble strip, down either second or third, full throttle down this chute, and then probably one of the hardest braking zones right here, a really slow right hand hairpin. Want to get a good launch out of that corner, full throttle down the straightaway, the longest straightaway on the course. You want to be in fourth gear at the end of this, and then here's the second hardest braking zone, and we had some traffic there. Did not expect that. A really slow right-hander there, and a quick left-hander. This is the toughest one because as you can see the elevation change. The car gets really light. Then another quick right-hander there. Good launch there. Another quick left. This is a downhill left, another tricky one. I stay full throttle through that whole section. Then slow up real again. Nice right-hander there. Up the hill. And a nice little curved chute here, and then another hard braking left-hander, downshift there, back into third, back into second again, and then a really slow right-hander, and we're back to the start again.
And there you have it. This guy, I had a couple of people ask, are you on a controller?
Yes I am. I am on a controller.
There you have it. I do want to give a big shout out to Bob, Jim Joe Bob. Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. I really thank you guys for coming out here tonight and supporting these guys. I know it means a ton. And for Joker93, I know he would absolutely love that everyone is coming together for this. And this is really what it's all about. Just everyone coming together to show support for a friend. All right, J-Mac, I gotta ask you, what do you think the trouble spots are gonna be here tonight?
Well, honestly, turn one is a really tough place to get through. There's no real marks on that right side. It's just basically a feel corner, especially on a start when you're not up to full song and your braking point is a little different. It's a little shallower than normal. That's a really, really tough corner to gauge perfectly. and then that curb down there on the inside can really upset the car, and then there's a curb on exit of the corner that really wants to upset the car. And then of course there's grass, which also wants to upset the car. So turn 1 is a really tough corner, and then right after that you have the keyhole turn 2, hard, heavy braking right-hander. Kind of have to diamond it. Really have to be easy on the throttle to get through there. And like I said, you need to diamond it to get a launch. And getting in there with a mass of cars, it's going to be a tough place to get through, especially on restarts or when you're racing somebody. And then you get all the way down into the S's. It's as we saw riding along with Side Job, a lot of elevation changes, a lot of places to lose rear traction. You don't want to be full throttle through there. You really want to feather it, stay easy, keep that car underneath you, and that's what you got to do to make lap time around there. It's a tough place, but it's a lot of fun. But expect a lot of cars to be mowing the grass, doing a little lawn work, and making the greenskeepers, well, not greenskeepers, this isn't a golf course, but you know what I mean, making them a little unhappy.
I know, Money, I don't know about you, but I know I've played in the sand a few times at this track.
Oh, it seems like every corner I come up to, I will always find some sand. At any point in this racetrack, one thing these drivers, even the best of these drivers, are going to have to do is they need to maintain their focus throughout the entirety of this race in green flag pace. So they could run 5 solid laps, get 1 lap toward their scheduled pit stop, and then boom, they can lose a lot of time just by making one simple mental error.
It's so true. I mean, it's very much a rhythm track. I think J-Mac will agree that if you're in a rhythm with it, you're going to do much better. If something upsets that, it takes a little bit to get back to that. It can be a struggle, but as he said, it is a fun track, and I've really come to love this track, but man, it will test you out in so many different levels. All right, I'm curious to see how these guys did in qualifying. I left the lobby just to make sure, because I know we're getting ready to go into the race, but there's going to be a lot of varying laps out there. I know I've gotten good enough where I can pretty much stay on the track, but being fast is a whole different story. So these guys have a huge night ahead of them, but I'm excited to see what they can do tonight here at Mid-Ohio.
Yep. So I'm still in the lobby. I'm just going to name off a couple people. CRL Sam will be starting in first place with a 122.6 lap time, followed by Mr. Slide Job with a 122.7, so very tight there. In third place, we have Jeremy in the 88 car with a 122.7. Fourth place, we have Expert Toaster with a 123.1. Fifth place, we have Dr. Ghost Rider 825 with a 123.5. And in sixth place, we have, gotta find him here, Tax 2488 with a 124.6. So some pretty close lap times, especially with the 1 through 4 spots, and then it kind of starts to spread out from there.
Thank you for that update, Money. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so you guys hear it right there. Some close times, but then it starts varying after that. And you saw what they were doing on track. A lot of talent out there, but sometimes if you don't have that rhythm, you're going to be on the grass or possibly making sandcastles in the sand. And that is something you definitely do not want to do.
Exactly. I'm excited to see what will happen as they take their first laps around this track, especially on the restart. See if these guys can settle out real quick to avoid any huge accidents.
J-Mac, what kind of lap times do you think we'll see during the race? I know hot lapping is completely different, so what do you think we can expect?
Honestly, them only getting 1 lap with the opportunity for yellows and strategy, you could get maybe some low fuel laps. The cars actually tend to get a little faster over the run as the cars get lighter. So I would honestly expect some 21s. Someone will get in there. Someone will get into that bracket for sure. We'll see some faster times, but with a full fuel load, with 1 real opportunity to make a lap, qualifying at these tracks is typically just a little slower than the fast speeds you see during the race.
Absolutely. Apparently I'm too quick on the draw.
Go ahead and join.
I already joined and had to leave. So someone can send me another invite. Thank you so much.
How about that one?
I'm too fast, sorry. Super Sam just hosted the stream for one viewer. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But Magic Mike says, not bad for no practice, and you are right. As we are headed to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, these guys are coming together at Carolina Racing League and Sprite Cup Series. They are coming together for a dear friend. We lost over the weekend. That was Joker 93, GRM Joker 93. Really just sad news to hear it. It's just really tough always losing a friend. So it's good to come out here for him and make a race together for him. All right, like I said earlier, stage one. Stage one is going to be 22 laps, so we're going to see what these guys can do. As we've said, you get 6 laps to a tank, so it's going to be pretty close. We're going to see a few pit stops here tonight, so that's really going to separate these guys, I feel like, once it starts moving here. We're looking at CRL Sam. He is on pole and off he goes. We're gonna look at what these guys can do in the first turn here, but these guys can cut this track a lot, J-Mac.
They can, but it's a really, really tight corner that you have to make, as we saw a spin in the very back of the field. But that's a tough place. They're all going to the keyhole, and the 88 blows the corner. Several drivers out in the dirt. Kind of what we expected here on these first laps. A little bit of mayhem there in turn 1, but they're going to work their way down into another heavy braking zone, which I imagine will be another place for some action.
Slide Job with quite a bit of a lead as these guys are struggling behind him. He is off and running, but Money, I'm not sure who you watching, but this is very interesting. Let's take a look at that 88. Oh, he narrowly misses, looks like in one of the 98s. So he is going to have a lot of catching up to do after this. You can see some dirt flying. These guys really just have a lot to go for tonight. It's going to be quite a challenging track, but so far it seems pretty good. These guys, a couple of guys in the grass, but I don't see anything too crazy as of yet.
Yeah, you're right. So far, I'm on board with Mr. Slide Job, and he is taking this course so smooth, hitting his points. I've seen very minimal mistakes, but nothing that would affect him too much.
Yeah, he's pretty well nailed every last turn out here. He does. Let's take a look at the guy behind him if we can. I'm trying to find the number, and I see that he just pulled over. I'm not sure what happened with that, but he has since lost Slide Job out there. J-Mac, what's going on for you?
Oh, watching the 16 there, looked like he just got a little too much throttle on the exit of the keyhole, got a little loose and had to save it, made a nice little save, but lost a position to the 4 of Expert Toaster. And now the 16 trying to work to get that spot back and maybe cool off those tires a little bit. This is a tough part of the track to do that through, as the rear tires are just absolutely screaming at you, trying to work their way through. The 4, he gets a little bit too much curb. He gets loose and squirrely, has to slow way down to save it. And so far, we've seen a couple of drivers lose it. We saw a couple of action spots there in the keyhole and in the hard braking right-hander of turn 3 or 4, whatever the number is on the track map. I'm not really sure. But other than that, mostly a smooth sailing here as Mr. Slide Job pulling away. Dr. Ghost Rider has moved back into second, and that is the one machine of Tack out in third.
Yeah, I've been watching Tack, and he's looking pretty strong out here. I've known him from another couple of leagues, so along with Expert Toaster, and these guys looking very, very solid as we are headed through the turn here. But it's pretty crazy. These guys are doing pretty good, Money.
Right, you are. Slide job that last lap. Saw him get in the grass a couple times, but again, I think he's just making very minimal mistakes, less mistakes than the guys behind him. So you see his lead just stretching out. As long as he can keep those mistakes to a minimum, he should be able to maintain this lead at least through this first stage.
We have 20 to go for the first stage, so still a lot of racing left, but I'm on board with the 8 of HD Yee, and he's got a lot of damage on the front end of that car. He's got the 9 right behind him, and that was Sam, who started on pole and has since fallen back. But the 8 seems to be in quite the rhythm right now, so we'll see if he can catch up with some time, but the 9 goes off the track into the grass. He's going to have some catching up to do. Oh, J-Mac,
Yep,
I
I'm on
see.
board
That's
with
something
it.
that you can get into.
Yeah, go ahead, J-Mac.
Oh, yes. I think you were looking at what we saw, the car out braking hard in the right corner. That red and black machine can't get a number on it, but his brakes are struggling right now. But to go back to the 9 car of CRL Sam, that's a thing. When you get into an issue at the beginning of the race, you get off track, you get knocked off track, whatever. You start to drive a little angry, a little frustrated, either with yourself or with your competitors, and you start trying to push to make up that gap, make up that track position you lost. And in a place like this, that's only going to cause more issues. You just gotta get refocused, settle down, start hitting your marks, and let the race come back to you, because we have a long race ahead of us.
It is a long race, and if you guys know, it is a technical track. We've talked about it, but coming off these turns, you really have to baby the throttle. You cannot just get back on it around this corner. A lot of times you do go on 2 wheels, and that can really upset the car. You can lose it, as we've seen a lot that have. The 8 car does a fantastic job at a save coming through that corner, but is a very challenging track as Sam tries to dive underneath, goes through the grass. He's still hanging on behind him.
Yep, I'm riding with the 88 car of Jeremy, and he is making his way up the track, not making any mistakes. Was able to get by the 3 car, now going to be working on the 24 going into turn 1.
Jeremy is in a pack of 3 right here, and he's got his hands busy with the guy in front of him, so he's going to keep him busy for a second as he dives underneath and is able to make the pass in the turn. A great pass for him. We see him hanging out on the outside, allowing 2 cars to go by, so he's going to relinquish that spot to a couple cars out here.
That was a great power move by the 88 car, taking that position away from the 24.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the number 3 of Dill Pickle. He is another one that is in quite the pack as I go off of him right here, but he is directly in front of the 24 car, doing a pretty good job out here so far. But man, oh man, J-Mac, I will tell you what, these guys are really starting to get spread out.
Really starting to get spread out as they're trying to you're just trying to hit your marks. They're like, we started off with a lot of contact. Now everything's spread out. Everyone's trying to hit their marks, work on the driver in front of them, keep that driver behind them at bay, and really that's what you've got to do at a place like this. This track requires a lot of focus. Every time your mind strays, you start thinking about anything else other than your own marks, about your own race. That leads to a decrease in lap time or worse. So this is the part of the race where this is gonna test some drivers. This first stage, you're either slide job, you've grown out to a big lead, or you're one of those other top 3 or 4 drivers that are where they want to be right now, or you're one of these drivers in the middle of the pack and you're trying to push to figure out how to get up through that field. Maybe you're a little angry right now, you're a little mad, a little upset. This is the part of the race that'll test you, because you obviously can't win it here, but you can put yourself in a terrible position to go win it and make it easy to lose in this first stage.
Yep, and I am on board with the number 4, a VXB shooter. He and the number 98 car are both in the sand against the tire wall. Both of them not moving right now, so I'm not sure what's going on with them, as the 98 is finally going in reverse and trying to pull out.
Yeah, I was watching the same thing you were. Over acceleration right there, and it's so easy to do. And I was with the 4 car, and then all of a sudden you see the 98 just slam the wall directly side by side with him. So absolutely insane. We have the 37 of Cobra going around that turn, and I'll tell you what, you can, like I said earlier, you can get on 2 wheels right there, which will upset the car, but he is handling it so well out here, hitting those apexes, and he seems to have it down as of right now.
And it looks like the top drivers are now going down pit road, taking their first green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I just saw turbocharge and that number 11 going in for a pit stop right there. So I think we're going to see a lot of them. I'm not sure, J-Mac, how much people can stay out on fuel. It doesn't seem like you could go probably past maybe 2 laps more than others.
At a track like this, even with the advanced or the accelerated tire wear, you're looking at maybe being able to save a lap, maybe like a half a lap if your fuel when pushing hard is running out midway through a lap or early in a lap. You can maybe save that lap, but you try to get too aggressive with fuel strategy at this track, it devastates the lap time, and the delta very rarely works out, especially how long these stages are. We've seen a few accidents here without yellows, so obviously this is going to be a very green race. So that's what we're going to be looking at here. Is basically you just want to push as hard as you can. If you're only making it on your in lap, if you still have maybe 3/4 of a tank of fuel, or a lap, I mean I should say 3/4 of a lap of fuel, half a lap, then maybe you try to save that. But if you go beyond that, that's a little too aggressive, and that's going to kill you in the long run.
Absolutely. I'm still on board with Slide Job, and he is doing a fantastic job out there as he's just nailing every lap as far as these corners go. He does have some company back there behind him, and I'm trying to get a view on who this is, but man, oh man, these cars are really varied up here, so I'm going to try to see if I can find out who that is.
I believe that is a lap car.
It's a lap car,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he is just on a roll out there. We've seen, I'm not even sure who second place is at this point. Hopefully we can get a view as we just see a car just fly over the turn and into the sand and into the wall. And I'll tell you what, if you lose your concentration, it's easy to happen. I've done it. I know probably a lot of people have, but man, oh man, he's going to have to go in to fix that damage.
Yeah, that was the 98 of Bradius 9, and he does not seem have to have the best handle on his marks for the track. Really took a interesting line. Maybe wanted to get some air on purpose there. Not really sure. Saw himself on camera and maybe wanted to give us something entertaining to look at. But either way, that is not how you want to take that corner.
No.
We want to back that braking zone up just a little bit.
As Mike said, he kamikazed that turn, and he flew up in the air, got some air on camera, so he'll have to view that later. But we're on board with the 88 right now, and we've seen him quite a bit. He's got quite a pack with him. It looks like about 5 cars out there, pretty close together. We already have a guy in the sand. I do believe that is one of the 98s. I'll see if I can get a name on him, but there's quite a few out here. But the 88 is going to pass him on by, and he's going to make up a position. Money, what are you looking at?
I'm currently on board with the 88 car as he's making his way through the S's. So far, so good, nice and smooth. As he's coming up again, trying to catch up to, I'm not sure what that number is, but the 16 car. Just really smooth through those corners, not making any mistakes as he touches the grass just a little bit. Oh, and he pulls wide and he's in the sand.
I just caught that. These guys are now 3 wide. They're able to hold on to it, but the 88 gets right behind the 4, and these guys are off and running, but you can see the damage on these cars. And as you guys can see, it is not an easy track. Very, very easy to get off track, and once you do, it's hard to recover from that sometimes.
Yep, you're right. This is definitely not a beginner's type of track. You need to have a lot of experience in this installment of the video game. You'll also have to put in a lot of time in practice to nail these corners and your braking points down.
Absolutely. We had the 4 and the 88. They were going side by side. The 4 of Expert Toaster decided to back off for the 88. So he let him go on by. I do believe that's a 98, not the 88. But he let him go on by. A great call for him. You don't want to go into that turn with all the acceleration that they did. So they are off and running. But man, great job by these guys out here, J-Mac.
Yeah, these drivers really racing hard there. I believe the 98 and the 88 on different laps there, I believe. The 98 really racing hard, trying to keep these guys behind him, trying to maintain another lap, maintain some track position here. But either way, oh, there was the purple Eris machine off course there in the inside. He is taking off now, but there's a lot of random carnage kind of everywhere. Some drivers off track, drivers stopped, stuck in walls, but otherwise a very smooth race. Watching the 88 really smooth through the S's and through the double right-hander, the little carousel that serves as the penultimate corner for the track. They're going down into the keyhole, but just up ahead of him, cars in the grass. Just a lot of entertainment for how spread out it is right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's a part of the track that is not being ran on at the moment. And like J-Max said, I think everybody has seen a little bit as far as maybe running off track or possibly even damage. So it's going to be a very interesting night to see how they finish. We're almost halfway through the stage 1. So still a ton of racing left. The 37 goes through the grass coming back on, but he's going to give up some time to the guy behind him. He's going to have to get that moving, but like I said, once you lose that rhythm, it is super hard.
Yep, I'm on board with the 37 car as he takes his corner pretty wide as he's coming down the chute. Going to get up to speed here, see what his entry looks like here.
We'll see as he makes that turn, and he's looking pretty good so far. Let's go on board with the 4 of Shooter if I can find him. He is still on the wall. I don't know if it's from the last time I saw him on the wall or if that's a new situation for him, but let's go on board with the 11 of Turbocharge. He is out here directly behind. Let's see if I can get a look at who that is. That is the 98. A lot of 98 out here tonight, but he looks like he's doing pretty good so far. But Slide Job, if I'm not mistaken, he still is your leader. And this guy is on the move. Very close contact with the 98 for the 11. He backs it off to let him get his bearings, but man, that was a close one, Money.
I unfortunately missed that, but yeah, when there are some cars competing against each other, there you see at least one or both end up always winding off track, as I am alongside Mr. Slide Job, and he's going back in for his second green flag pit stop for this stage.
Yeah, you see him on pit road. That is going to bring out a new leader, but very close out here. We're on board with the 88 of Jeremy, and he's looking pretty good. He's got some damage on that front hood, but I think most of the guys out here do. So it's going to be pretty close as he goes around the turn there. He's going to be coming up on the right-hander, which we've seen so many guys actually ramp and go past the turn, completely miss it and into the wall. So we're coming up on 11 to go. Still quite a bit of racing even for stage 1. J-Mac, who do you have? Who are you watching out there?
Oh, I'm just kind of cycling through the field watching this set of pit stops right here. This is a very interesting pit road to get onto. You actually have to go to the outside of the track, enter on the left side, and it narrows out, but you can really charge it and almost use the grass and get down to speed. if you need to. It's just it's a very interesting pit road to get onto, but so far it doesn't seem like any issues for our leaders.
Yeah, they seem to have pretty solid entries, but that 16 of Ghost Rider, we're on board with him. He looks pretty solid out there. We're going to see how he does. You can see him revving that limiter right there, but he's going around. It seems to do pretty okay. Takes the left-hander. This is where you can get on 2 wheels as it changes elevation, but so far so good for him.
And I'm on board with the 88 car. He has now gone into pit road, so I should expect to see Mr. Slide Job regaining his position at the top of the leaderboard.
We're on board with Slide Job, and here he is in that 5 car directly behind the 24. Looking pretty good. I mean, I don't think I see a spot on his card. He might be one of the only ones out there. While I'm looking, though, that 24 looks pretty clean out there, too. So we'll see how he dips underneath, goes side by side. A little bit of contact, boots him out of the way, moves him up. Doesn't seem to hurt the 24 so much as they are back to side-by-side racing. It's going to be very interesting down this long curved straightaway here, but they are going to be heading into a very tight turn. Slide Job decides to let the 24 on by. The 24 takes it too wide, and he's going to go on the grass. That's going to let Slide Job get on by.
Excellent job by Slide Job, being patient and letting his opponent make the mistake first. That way he can get the easy pass.
Absolutely. I do want to give a shout out to chat. The main man 31 just followed. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Rock, hope you're doing good out there. Thank you guys for tuning in to this race. Such a crazy weekend for these guys. They are racing for a friend tonight who we have lost, GRM Joker 93. I personally did not know him, but the stories that I've heard, he obviously was quite the character and is going to be very well missed out here.
Same goes for me. I did not know him personally, but from what I've seen around the Facebook community, he was very funny guy, a fun person to be racing with, and a good person at heart. So I do believe, if Frozen, if you have any details, I believe there's a GoFundMe page for him.
Yeah, I know Slide Job did set one up. I'm not sure how to get to the page. Maybe I can look that up while we're talking. But I know that Slide Job has set one up, and if you want and can, there is a donation page out there on Facebook for his family for that. But I'll see if I can get some details on it. Rock NASCAR, thank you so much for the cheers. I appreciate it. Parts Boy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. J-Mac, who are you following out there on track?
Oh, right now I'm riding along with the 88 actually. The 8 in front of him was off track. He pulled over to the right to let him go. I was just kind of following the 88's line a little bit, as there's not really a whole lot of action right now on the track. Everybody just trying to mind their P's and Q's, stay on course, and maintain enough speed so they don't end up a lap down by the end of this stage, because this is going to be a tough place. You're not getting your lap back on your own with Stan's the lucky dog. So right now, going through the field, the one car, he is right now on pit road. That is Tack. I believe he might be lagged out because his car is not moving anywhere and has been there for a little while. And that's basically all I'm looking at as we're hearing over the radio. There is 7 to go in stage 1.
7 to go in stage 1, and it's really unfortunate to see that Tack is out of this, because I'll tell you what, from what I've seen with him on road courses, he's actually very good. So I hate to see him taken out of the race. But we're on board with the 8 of HDE. That's quite the name, I'll tell you what. We're gonna go on board with him for a second and see how he is doing. A lot of braking going into that turn, and that really upset the car, but he managed to hold on to it. You can see him taking the left-hander pretty well right there. Just a very challenging track overall, so these guys are going to be very well spread out. We have Slide Job.
Yes, I'm riding along.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we have Slide Job in first place as he's yet completed another lap going into turn 1. I'm just amazed on how smooth he has been throughout this entire race. No mistakes at all from him, and just overall dominating this race.
He sure is, and I'll tell you what, I kind of figured once he was doing the lap to take us around the track, and as he was talking about it and not making any mistakes, I'm just thinking, good grief, if that was me, I'd be making every mistake, overdriving corners trying to talk about it. So good for him. This guy really knows his track right there. You see he's got some traffic in front of him, which one of them, the 98 and 11, spin out at the same time, the same turn. Slide Job narrowly misses them and makes his way on by, but man, oh man, that is quite the little incident going on right there, but he manages to make it on by.
And yet still able to keep his momentum that he's built up over the course of this race. So kudos to him for being able to avoid that wreck. I believe those two cars just over accelerated and just ended up turning their cars around.
You know, that's one of the things with the elevation change, and you're trying to turn while you're going downhill. You go onto 2 wheels right there, and it is so hard. Your car just wants to spin around. You really have to baby the car around that corner, and Slide Job, he's got it down.
Yep, you got to keep in mind these are not Indy cars or F1 cars where they sit really low to the ground, so their center of gravity is dispersed differently than these Cup cars. So definitely gonna have to handle these different on these road courses than you would say on the F1 game or any other road course based racing games that are out there.
Absolutely. J-Mac, I'm on board with the 4 car of Expert Toaster. Do you think we're going to see another pit stop as we are coming down to the final few laps of stage 1?
Depending on how quickly they seem to be pitting, I would assume so. I did not have the opportunity to get really a number on how far they can go on fuel here. In the
6.
past, it seems 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah.
Okay, 6. Then I would assume, yes, they're going to have to pit one last time, probably just take a quick splash and get out of there, because the tires should be good to make it a little longer of a run. But unless some of these drivers are saving fuel, which again, I don't know if the Delta is there for it, I believe we're going to see some of these guys come to pit road one more time.
I agree with you. There's still enough. You don't get many. They're on 3 times wear, and with this many laps, and we already have the 16 on pit road, so that pretty much answers the question right there. We'll see if we get our leader on pit road. He possibly could be, and there he is right there. But Jim Joe Bob says, I have only run this in trucks, and it looks so much harder with Cup cars. You are absolutely correct. The trucks, they are more stable on there and more kind of heavy, so you're able to kind of whip it around there a lot easier than on Cup cars too, which seem a lot lighter on the track. So like I said, you really do have to baby it, and when you're in a race with time, it's kind of hard to maintain that. You got to train your mind to just be able to baby it, because sometimes slower is faster, J-Mac.
I don't know if slower is faster, but it's definitely safer and stabler a lot of times. Except really with this game, you really want to be close to full song. You kind of want to put it on the edge of grip, because every time that I have tried to baby the car around one of these places to take it easy to maintain track position, I end up getting into more trouble. The car starts getting a little light, so you really want to push hard. You want to maintain your rhythm. You want to maintain your marks and all that. It's easy to kind of get lulled into the sense of needing to take it easy, but that can get you into more trouble than it's really worth sometimes. Sometimes it's just better to maybe not necessarily push, but to maintain the pace that you would run normally if you were trying to run somebody down or trying to defend.
Absolutely. Money, I see that you have found that. Can you tell us a little bit about the GoFundMe for JRM Joker, or GRM Joker?
So far they have raised $335 for the family of Joker. They have a goal of $5,000. So, um, if everybody, if they can or want to, they can donate to the link. I'll post that in your chat here momentarily. He was 26. He raced with many people in the NASCAR community. Was a friend to all. Um, as we've said many times, he was a jokester. I guess he was very good at voice impressions and was very kind-hearted. Um, and Slide Job, the one that set it up, he and I think all of us feel if we can do everything we can in this difficult time. Um, I know for me personally, I've lost family members, a few family members recently, and it's definitely a nice thing to see people rally around you and help you out whenever you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you guys want or can donate, that I know that would be much appreciated. But tonight is all about coming out for a friend, for GRM Joker 93. But man, Slide Job out here. He is on his own little island. There is absolutely nobody around him right now. He's just doing a fantastic job out there. I do want to give a quick shout out to FSL Radio Network. He just followed. Thank you so much for the follow. BHD Money, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But definitely, apparently it's not letting me post not letting him post the link, but we'll try to get that out there. But these guys doing pretty solid. Slide Job is out there dominating though, J-Mac. I don't know how else to put it, but he really knows his stuff for this track.
Yeah, obviously put in the time and effort to be prepared for this track, to make lap time and run smoothly without sticking a wheel off in the dirt. Missed it maybe just a hair in qualifying, not getting the pole, getting that outside pole though, but ever since turn 1 he has led this thing and has looked really stout. But here in a couple of laps, here in a few minutes, this thing's gonna get re-racked and we're gonna get into stage 2. This first stage has gone on a while, and I'll be interested to see if a little breather, if a moment to gather themselves, make some adjustments, if that'll help some of these drivers.
Yeah, we should be
You're
headed
exactly
to.
right.
This should be
Go
the
ahead.
last lap here for stage 1, so this will be the final lap, and he should take home the stage 1 win. Doing a fantastic job out there, but man, oh man, it's pretty good out here so far.
I'm sure for many of these drivers, they just can't wait for the stage 1 to be over. That way they can get down pit road, get a fresh set of fours, full tank of fuel, and hit that massive reset button. Get this field stacked up and maybe get a little shot of redemption if you are a car just a lap down or in the back of the lead lap pack.
Absolutely. I'm going to see if I can try to get this link squared up for everybody and put it out there in chat. I know sometimes they do not like to have links out there, so we'll see if we can get that out there. But this should be the final lap, and we'll get these guys some tires and some fuel. And like Money said, it's going to be a complete reset for some of these guys. It's just a lot has to do with mental. A mental race for them. It's very technical and it can mess with you, so it's nice to have a little reset out there.
You're exactly right. Expect these guys to shake out their hands a little bit. I'm sure they're if they're using a controller, the thumbs are nice and tired. If you're on a wheel, I'm sure you're trying to shake out your feet, shake out your shoulders, just from fighting the car, depending on how these guys have their sim set up. So definitely it takes a little bit out of your body. I know it's not the real thing, but it can definitely cause some cramping issues, and I'm sure they're a little mentally exhausted at this point.
For sure. All right, J-Mac, if you were out here, let me know what kind of slider are you running and what pit adjustments do you think you might be doing?
On Heat 4, I'd be running an 8 or a 9, but on this game, I haven't really taken a lot of time to run road courses on presets. I know we have our own race here coming up soon, so that's not very good of me. But I really haven't taken a lot of effort here. But it seems that it's a lot looser. So a 6 or a 7 probably, and if I'm struggling with a loose car, then I'm looking to lower those rear tire pressures, maybe go up a little bit on the front so that we could get a little speed and maybe a little braking help. Maybe stagger those tires to help with certain corners if I'm not liking the way everything's working, the way it handles and lefts and rights. I know we've gone green here, and they're about to plow down into the keyhole. Hopefully everyone keeps it on track.
Yeah, these guys, a lot of contacts as they're trying to make it through there, and I see a lot of guys on pit road. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that we might be down to 12 cars. So such a technical track, and 11 cars from what I'm hearing now. So with a technical track and some of these guys came out here last second to try to support a friend. Super hard, but I'll tell you what, I just saw that 24 car and he was 3 wide going side by side with another. Man, what a race out there. Let's see if we can get on board with him, but he's keeping pretty busy out there. That is a 24 of Trigger Trezzy, and he's got quite the activities going around as the 11 goes off the grass with a little bit of help with the guy behind him. But money, it is getting crazy out here.
Oh yes, and I'm riding along with the 88 of Jeremy, and I tell you what, he was so thankful that first stage is gone. He is right on Mr. Slide Job's bumper as he's coming around the last corner. Lost a little bit there, but he is just hitting those corners so well and sticking with him throughout this entire racetrack.
J-Mac, I'm on board with Cobra, and he is in quite the little pack right now, and he is going off the track. I don't know if it's like a booth curse or what, but man, he is completely spun around at this point. We'll see if we can catch up. He had 11 of Turbocharger. J-Mac, who are you out there watching?
I just flipped to the 37, and it looked like he had done what we were talking about earlier in the race, and maybe got that curb just a little bit, either on entry or exiting, and looped it. It's just such a tough corner because again, there's no real mark into that left-hander into turn 1, and that can cause a lot of issues for some of these drivers, especially if you're trying to race somebody. You lose a little focus. You're trying to focus on something else other than just that corner. This is a tough place to work. But meanwhile, I was looking up front before that at our lead and at our battle for the lead, as right now we have had a change for the lead. I believe the 88 of Germany is in the lead.
Yep. Slide Job made just a little mistake on the S's and was able to make some space for the 88 to take the lead. And Slide Job actually dropped back quite a bit. I believe he's now dropped to 3rd position from that area. I don't know if they made contact. It looked like it was really tight. But yeah, this changed the race with number 88.
Yeah, the 88 is looking strong so far at the beginning of stage 2 with Slide Job trying to keep that 2nd place so far. He's got a lot of guys behind him. He's got 3 cars that are definitely hungry to take over P2, but Slide Job is already putting a gap on them, and he's trying to work his way to that 88 of Jeremy.
Yeah, now you have to wonder, this 5 car has been all by himself pretty much the entire race. Smooth sailing, out in clean air, clean track, nothing really to worry about but his own marks. Now he needs to run down another car trying to gain points for this stage here. And this is the first moment of adversity he's faced. He got off track, now he's got to get his marks back, and he's got to go do what he can to run down that 88. And it's the same thing for the 88 of Jeremy. This is the first time he's been out in the lead. He's been in chase mode the entire time. Now he has nothing to focus on except for maintaining that gap. Does he start worrying a little too much about what's in the rear mirror and make a mistake, or is he able to keep it calm, hit his marks, and pull away and manage or even grow this gap?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is one.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's one thing that all drivers, no matter what track you are at, once you get that lead, now your focus has to shift to how am I going to maintain this lead.
It's so true, and you know, as much as they're driving and seeing what's ahead of him, you know he's looking at his rear view and seeing what's going on behind him. That can be a good thing, or it can really mess you up, so we'll have to see how it affects him. But for those guys in chat, if you do want to take a look, I have posted the link to the GoFundMe in chat, so you're more than welcome to take a look at that. And I do want to give a shout out to Pinocchio Joe. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it out here.
And Slide Job makes yet again another mistake, goes into the grass, and he has now dropped back to what I believe is the third position now. So you're starting to see the mistakes starting to pile up a little bit for Mr. Slide Job. As he takes that corner a little wide, he's going to use some speed exiting that corner. It'll be interesting to see how he responds, see what adjustments he might need to make down pit road, or he just needs to get down there and get a fresh set of fours. I wonder how much tire wear has his tires taken since going off the racetrack.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he maybe made some kind of pit adjustment that has really affected his car. But the 16 looking a little loose as he is coming around that corner, but Slide Job directly in front of him. He's got a lot of guys he's got to watch out behind him. That 16 looking pretty solid so far, but man, he's got the 4 of Expert Toaster just putting the pressure on him behind him, not making any contact that I can see behind him. But man, oh man, that's a close one, J-Mac.
It is a close one, and to piggyback off of what y'all were saying about setups, Mr. Slidejob may have made an adjustment that's kind of upset the car here, or maybe he didn't make an adjustment. Maybe he was so happy with his car he opted to keep it pat, and these others around him have made a little better adjustments. That 88 definitely looks a little better on this run than he did beforehand. So perhaps either way, that is an issue that these guys are having right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 8 car at the moment. He is pretty well deep in the field behind that 24. Looking pretty solid so far, but these guys have had a lot of entertainment going on. I don't even know what they would call it right now, but a lot going on for these guys, a lot of concentration that is going on. But man, the 8 getting loose as he's coming around that corner. You can tell he's really babying it out there, and we're gonna see that a lot from these guys. Every 6 laps though, these guys have to go in, so that is another opportunity to make an adjustment that they may need. As you see the 98 going in for some fresh tires and some fuel.
I'm riding along with the 16 car, and he ended up taking a nice little spin, going headfirst into the wall. He was in the 3rd position, lost quite a few spots, and obviously have to go down pit road, maybe a lap early, and gonna spend some time repairing some damage.
The pit road is pretty busy right now between cars that have left as far as the race goes, and cars that are on pit road for tires and fuel. But on track, everyone is pretty well spread out, J-Mac.
Yeah, sort of the same story as the previous stage. A little bit of action there at the beginning. Everyone kind of bounced off. A couple of mistakes were made, and that shuffled out the field, and that's created a really spread out race. The Mr. Slide Job already hitting pit road here, as it looks like pit stop's already beginning. It's definitely scheduled, seeing how many are on pit road. And then again, we've had a lot of lag outs, so that's also why pit road looks really, really heavily populated right now.
So true. Our top 3 guys are on pit road for a scheduled pit stop. We have Expert Toaster, and we have the 88 and Slide Job. Our top 3 guys, they will be coming out shortly, but there's gonna be no surprises here. 4 tires, full fuel, so these guys are already on their way out. So let's take a look at Jeremy and that 88 as he is making his way out on track and already going into the first turn.
It seems like his car is just handling so well right now, as he just went around the first turn flawlessly, a lot better than I could ever do it at this point in time, as he goes down the long chute.
Yeah, he's got quite the gap between him and the 5 of Slide Job. Slide Job, I know that he is just on a mission right now. He is trying to catch up. Hopefully he got any changes that he needed done to the car, but the 88 is having a fantastic performance out here for stage 2.
Yeah, it appears to be Jeremy has about a 5-second lead on Slide Job, so quite a bit of time to make up. But all it takes is one simple mistake from the 88 car, and you will see Mr. Slide Job right back in it.
You know, J-Mac, what I'm curious about, we saw Sam out here. He qualified on pole, but the race seems to be a whole different story for him. What do you think might be going on for him? Nothing like putting you on the spot, huh? Oh, we lost to J-Mac. Yeah, I'm out here watching him, and you see a ton of damage out there, but like I said, he qualified pole, but it seems that he is really struggling in the race out here, so hopefully he can make up some time and take away that gap that is in front of him. "12 laps to go, J-Mac. Who are you out there watching right now?"
Oh, I'm just riding along with our leader, Jeremy. He is incredibly smooth around this place. No wheels off. Maybe a little bit far off the curb, but that's a really safe line to be taken. Oh, as I say that, he really uses the curb there through the S's. Now, ooh, very aggressive through the double right. That's a very tough place to keep traction. That's a tough curb to hit, but he was able to make it work, get through there. Right now, this 88 looking incredibly strong, just really smooth, running a great line. Gonna be really tough for that green machine, that green 5 car in second place of Slide Job to run down before this stage ends.
Yeah,
Yes, it really seems like
Go ahead.
It really just seems like he hasn't changed his mindset at all. He was chasing Slide Job for basically the entire stage 1, and once he got by Slide Job, it looks like he's still maintaining his aggression through those corners, and making it work for him.
Absolutely. You can see from the 88, you can see Slide Job behind him, but man, oh man, he's got a long way to go as the 88 goes through the grass just a little bit, but it's going to be super. He's got some distance between the two, so if he can just keep on his line and continue on, he should be good to go for the finish of stage 2. If I'm not mistaken, we do have one more pit stop for these guys. It's going to be super, super close, but we have probably about 11 to go, so it should be, yeah, definitely one more pit stop for these guys, J-Mac.
One more pit stop, one more opportunity to make an adjustment or two to this car. Do these cars maybe try to find something that they're missing, but otherwise, it's also another opportunity to make a mistake, speed on pit road, maybe get a little bit of curb on pit road exit. So this is going to be an opportunity to make or gain time, or maybe neither, as especially amongst these first two, just everything seems to be coming really easy for these drivers, but especially that 88 here in stage 2.
I was on board with Mr. Slide Job, and he did go through the grass in the final part of the last turn. But man, very close for these drivers, and these two seem to just be really on it tonight. I want to see if we can get on board with Expert Toaster in that 4 car. You don't see anyone in front of him, so there's quite a bit of distance between him, and I do believe he is in 3rd place. But money, these guys have quite the distance between everybody.
Yeah, you definitely see the top 3 have definitely spread themselves out from the rest of the field. But even between the top 3 drivers, you saw, last I checked, it was about 5 seconds between Jeremy and Slide Job, but I believe that has grown even more, and I'm not quite sure what the distance between Slide Job and Toaster are, but again, I'd say it's around that 8 to 9 second range at this point.
You can see the 88 moving through the corner there, going down to the right-hander. Even in the distance, you can see drivers on a different part of the track, and you just see dirt flying in the background. It's absolutely insane. how challenging this track is. And you can see him going through the dirt right now, just picking up the dirt, and he's got slide job. Looks like he might be decreasing that gap between the two, but not too terribly much to go left in stage 2. But man, slide job is on a mission, but it looks like the 88, he is on a mission himself.
Yeah, and that gap
like
between our top two has really not changed at all. The 88 holding up. Oh, a little dirt flying, riding along with slide. Oh, slide job wrecks it. He got just a little too much curb in the first half of the double right, spins it out. That's going to be a lot of time, and that's basically going to seal this stage up at least for that 88 car, unless he makes a big mistake. But really our first real major mistake out of the 5 car, as right now our the gap between the 2 dominant cars of the evening so far has just widened considerably.
Yeah, I mean, after racing for 2 stages, and this is a very long race. We're at 100% race, guys, so a lot of laps here tonight. These drivers are getting tired. I know Slide Job has been just on it all weekend trying to gather people together, and a lot going on for him for several leagues. So for him, this just may be something as far as, you know, everything is technical and trying to put all the laps together. It can wear you down after a while.
Yep, I know if it was me right now in that race car, I would definitely be feeling it a little bit. Me personally, I race on a wheel, so it's definitely trying to get everything, making sure everything's in sync between the pedals and the steering wheel. And if you're on a controller, just making sure your thumbs are not twitching in the wrong direction. So see how these guys be handling it in their pit stops and in between this next stage.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we do have 8 to go, so that either they're going to have to save some fuel or they're going to have to make another pit stop there, J-Mac.
It's either 8 to go or 7 to go. Either way, if they're only making 6, that's going to be really, really tough to manage, unless it's, you know, they're going like 6.5 or something. Then you can make that up with even just a little short shifting with accelerated 3 times wear. You can save a lot of fuel with just some short shifting, letting off a little early, a little coasting. Really, really, really help yourself, help your fuel mileage. But the 88, little glitchy coming off of pit road, but here he comes, keeping it underneath a little red and white curb. He's gonna have a massive gap, and now the just about keeping it on the pavement is what we said from the drop of the green, and it's gonna hold true until the checkered flag. You're not gonna win this race if you can't keep it on the gray stuff.
Yeah, we have the 88 coming out strong, and he's got quite the lead over Slide Job, who probably had to repair some damage. So Jeremy in that 88 is looking very strong right now, Money.
Yep, he definitely is. Right now I'm on board with the number 4 car, who has taken the lead momentarily. He'll obviously lose this. He decided to stay out 1 extra lap ahead of everybody else, so he's on a little bit of a different pit schedule. But I noticed he was struggling a little bit in these last couple laps. The 3 car was able to catch up to him, make it a little bit of a battle, but until the 3 car eventually pulled onto pit road. But 4 car seems to be a little slow right now.
He seems to be a little bit slower than our top 2 guys, but he's pretty steady out there. So that may just help him secure 3rd place when it comes down to the finish. We're going to find out, but that 88, he's got the speed and he's got the consistency, and that's what you need here at these technical tracks. Slide Job, he can make up time, and there is another stage to make that up, but he's really got to gather it back together and make sure he nails that final stage.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It'll be interesting to see what he does with these 4 fresh tires. See how aggressive he is going into these corners as he's going around this long elevated curve here, making sure he doesn't lose it or take it too wide, going down the long chute.
All right, J-Mac, we saw our top guys go in. I do believe they should be able to make it through as far as the final part of the stage 2 here. So are you really going to try and go all out to catch up, or are you just going to save it and try not to lose any positions at this point?
Well, I think at this point of the run, it's all about just hitting your marks. If you make up time on the person in front of you, great. If the person behind you is catching you just a little bit, then that's just not something you can let yourself be distracted by. You just have to go out there and hit your marks, run your race, run your pace, run the pace you want, make the laps you want on make the laps you want to make on fuel and tires. If there's a number you're trying to get to, that's what you need to be focused on. Not really so much anyone else around you. You just want to hit your marks, run your lap time, and if that isn't enough to gain anything really as spread out as it is, pretty much set where you are unless you make a mistake or someone around you makes a mistake. So just go make laps, keep it safe, and try to plan for what you want to do in stage 3.
4.5 laps for the 88 to go, and you don't see anything around him. So as long as he keeps it consistent and is on the move, this guy's going to take the stage 2 win. And he's just looking very, very solid out here. We had Slide Job dominate stage 1 with Jeremy in that 88. He's dominating stage 2, Money.
Yeah, it just seems like the roles have just completely reversed for this second stage. I'm interested to see. I can't wait for this stage to be over to see these cars reset and those two go head to head again. See who can make the least amount of mistakes. 88 seems like, I believe at the beginning of the race, he was back in the pack a little bit, so had some ground to make up from that aspect, getting through the pack, making sure he could avoid any wrecks. But once he found that clean air, it seems like he's just been gone.
Absolutely. And I'm curious if he made any changes on pit road that really helped the way his handling was, and really just speaks to how he drives. But a fantastic job out there for him, doing a really solid job out there. We're getting ready to head to stage 3, so we're in the final parts of the lap, but we see Mr. Slide Job coming up on some traffic here. We're going to see how he can handle it. I know earlier you guys saw it right there when we're on board with him. He had 2 cars wreck out directly in front of him. He made it on by, but stage 2, the 88 is giving him a run for his money there, J-Mac.
Yeah, stage 2, the 88 has been absolutely flawless, especially since he took the lead. Not a tire off, except whenever a couple of times, it seemed like he meant to do that. Maybe just trying to push a little bit. Oh, what happened, Frozen?
I look over and he's got another car wrecking directly in front of him. I don't know if I'm jinxing him or what, but absolutely insane. He did a great job making it through, but man, oh man, he did make some contact, so I don't know if that gave him any damage, J-Mac. But that was a pretty scary situation right there.
On the 88, I didn't see that at all. That must be a little difference in the game or something. Oh, a slide job. Oh, well, never mind then. The difficult stage 2 continues for that poor guy. Pretty much everything that has gone wrong could go wrong, but luckily for him, this is happening in stage 2 and not in stage 3. He's gonna get a magical little reset button here in a few minutes to get his wits back about him and go about trying to win this race.
Yeah, 3 to go when we hit the line there, but Jeremy is still on the run. And with Slide Job running into these cars, I mean, the lap traffic is just no luck for him tonight with that as far as it goes. But man, he's doing a fantastic job trying to get around these guys and make his way through the track. But so far, stage 2, the 88 is just on it for here.
Yep, lap traffic definitely plays a factor. You can have all the communication you want, but on a road course, it's really difficult to communicate with any lap traffic that you have going on, just because the corners are just so tight and the track, it just isn't as wide as you see on your typical 1.5 or 2 mile courses. So it's a little bit of added pressure onto Slide Job to not only A, catch up to Jeremy, but B, to get around this lap traffic.
Absolutely. We have 2 laps to go, if I'm not mistaken, in 88. Like I said, I don't see any sign of him slowing down or anyone really behind him. You can see someone in the distance, but not much as far as competition goes around him. Slide Job just needs to bring it home for P2 and stage 2 and give it another go for stage 3, but these guys are going to get stacked back up together. Last, when we went into stage 2, we only had 11 cars out there. I'm curious how many we're going to have for stage 3 there, J-Mac.
I'm curious too, and according to the old Mississippi counter, the 88 currently has a 6-second lead, a 6 Mississippi lead, I should say, on the 5 of Mr. Slide Job. But I imagine we'll have a little less attrition in this stage. I think anybody that wanted to throw in the towel has already done so, and they're just out there racing to make it work. But either way, yeah, this is I don't know. I'm more interested in how many cars we're gonna have on the lead lap here whenever we start up stage 3, because the 88 is putting down a torrid pace, and you can see that by the fact that there's really no one on the front stretch with him as he goes into turn 1, and this should be, I believe, the final lap of the stage.
Final lap of the stage, and Slide Job, you see him in front of him, but that is quite the distance as they head into the first turn out there, actually the second turn, going into the keyhole here. But these two really just have it going tonight. We see Expert Toaster, he in that number 4 car as he crosses over the start finish line, passes the number 3 of Dill Pickle. He probably is your 3rd place car here. It's really hard to tell with the amount of distance that these guys have, but man, quite the distance between these guys.
And according to the Mississippi counter, the 5 did pull in by 1 Mississippi on that lap. So 5 definitely has pace, has run a really good run since this last pit stop, and is slowly closing the gap, but now he's completely disappeared, so I kind of wonder if maybe something happened to him. But either way, this is probably going to be your battle for the win, the 88 and the 5, who can make it through the first corner. But the 88, he's coming around to win stage 2 here.
Here he comes. He goes past the start-finish line and into the grass right there. But a great stage 2 finish for him. We're going to get Slide Job over the line here. And these guys, pretty solid performance so far. We're going to see if they make any adjustments going into stage 3 there, Money.
Yes, if I'm the 88 car, I'm making very minimal adjustments. His cars just look so great tonight. Very consistent, very fast, so I don't expect too many changes out of him. As far as Slide Job, I don't know if he did make up some time there, so I'm wondering if he's pretty happy with his car also. But it'll be interesting to see what these two drivers are going to do going down pit road.
Absolutely. I'm curious, like we said earlier, how many guys are going to be entering stage 3, and what is it going to look like as far as the finish here? These guys really hanging out for their dear friend. I know they miss terribly, so it's really cool to see the community come together. I will try to make another link here. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. And if you're interested in donating for the GoFundMe for GRM Joker, please do. I know his family would really appreciate it. We're gonna pull that up for him, but we are getting ready to enter stage 3. We have Sam out on the lead here, so we'll see what happens with this.
Interesting strategy call.
Absolutely, right? So we'll see if he can hang out there. I don't know if maybe he didn't get the pit stop or anything like that, but we have Slide Job directly behind him. But the 88, he is gone, guys. 9 car of Sam, he did not pit. He's already pulling over. So he is going to relinquish that spot to everyone in front of him. He's going to have to go in if he can even make it around.
And meanwhile, we've had a massive shakeup at the front of the field. The 88 went off track into the dust. The 4 of Expert Toaster for the first time today. He is in the lead. The 3 of the Dill Pickle, he is actually up into second. The 88 really outbreaking them. He takes over the third position and is beating on the rear bumper of Mr. Slide Job for second. And meanwhile, the 4 really liking where he is, hasn't shown the most speed today, but whenever you can get out front and force those guys behind you to push, you're in a really good spot. He just has to maintain and kind of hope he doesn't get run over here, because Mr. Slide Job and the 88, the 5 and the 88, really aggressive right now. They're going to go down into the last few corners of the track. The 5 looking to retake the lead for the first time since early on in stage 2.
And there goes the 5 of Slide Job, already making his way by the 4 of Expert Toaster. They were really closing that gap on him. And both cars, P1 and P2 of Slide Job and the 88 of Jeremy, they both have gotten by him now. So this is really a race between these two and anyone else who can hang with them there, Money.
I'm betting Slide Job is so happy that 88 made that mistake when he did, was able to get back up through the field after that last pit stop. Now he's sitting up front. He is now in the driver's seat as far as this race is concerned. We'll see if 88 can maintain his aggression while staying on the pavement and able to close that gap.
Yeah, these guys are pretty close together right now, but look at the race behind them. The 4, the 3, the 24. These guys are so close. Let's see if we can bring it back there with these guys. We're on board with the 3 of the Dill Pickle, and he is directly behind 4 of Toaster. He is all over him, trying to make it so he doesn't make any contact. Very, very tight racing. There is some contact. Dill Pickle gets shoved off the road with a little bit of contact that they had. The 24 makes it on by, but Dill Pickle, what I love about this is he was very careful as to not affect anyone else. Very clean driving by him.
Yeah, that's very impressive driving. If that would have been me, I would have ended up, as a reaction, just over accelerating and then just totally spinning out the car and causing a pileup. So good job on his part to maintain his composure and get back on the racetrack. Lost a couple spots there, but if he can maintain some consistent driving, he should be back up there.
Absolutely. With the 24 of Trigger Trezzy, we're on board with him, and he seems to always be in a pack, J-Mac. He's doing pretty good with these 2 other cars out here of Expert Toaster and the 4 in front of him, and also Dill Pickle directly behind him.
Yeah, the 4 and the 3, they had broken out to an early lead in this stage after the dust up in the keyhole, but since then they've fallen back just a little bit. The 24 of Trigger Trezzy, that is a difficult name to say, but the 24 holding on strong there in P4, trying to fend off the charge from the 3 of the Dill Pickle. But this is some excellent racing. Meanwhile, out front, the gap seems to be modestly stable, if albeit very hard.
It's crazy. It seems like these guys are just switching between each other. We have Slide Job out front once again. We have the 88 of Jeremy and P2, and these guys switched for stage 2. Now it's back to this once again, and they are just leaving quite the gap between them and 3rd place. So these guys are just really on it. They seem to be the cream of the crop here, and they're letting everyone know.
Yes, I'm on board with the 88 car, as he has once again gone in the grass, losing even more time. I counted 3 seconds. I bet you that has been lengthened to about 5 seconds now as he went in the grass in the last couple of corners, going through the S's. I think maybe he's getting just a little too aggressive, trying to shrink in that gap.
We have the 4 of Expert Toaster. He should be currently sitting at P3 with the 24 of Trigger Trezzy. He should be P4. They've got some company behind him, though. Let's see if I can take a look at who that is. That's 3 of Dill Pickle. He's still hanging on, but man, he is losing them just a little bit. And Expert Toaster and Trigger Trezzy and that 24, they are leaving him right now. Let's take a look at this 98 of Nova 1 Alpha. We have not talked too much about him. He is out there pretty solo at the moment, but really hanging in there. I love it that this guy has not given up. There's been a couple of guys that just could not continue on. You see him on pit road as we go by. He's still out there trucking, so huge props out there for him at the moment. Let's go on board with that 24 of Trigger Trezzy. Still in a group, J-Mac. This is absolutely crazy. These guys are really just hanging on. The gap between them has increased a little bit, but overall, they're pretty well still together.
24 has done a good job of fending off the 3, and is now, looks like he's slowly shortening that gap between himself and Expert Toaster. Expert Toaster struggling a little bit with grip right now, a little bit with the braking, but otherwise, and as I say that, the 24 misses his mark just a little bit through the double right. Onto the final back straight they go, but these 3 staying within touch of each other. This is looking like this is probably going to be our best battle. This is going to be a fight for a podium spot in this race, the 4, the 24, and the 3. But here we go. Onto the front stretch, down the line. The 24 gets a little too much throttle, gets loose. The 3 going to be able to get to him, and then the 24 misses the corner, so that's going to be a pretty easy pass there for the Dill Pickle. The 24 of Trigger Trezzy did all he could to hold on and maintain that 4th spot, maybe try to go get 3rd, but pushed just a little too hard, ended up losing that spot.
And it appears the 88 car has gone in 1 lap sooner than the top driver of Slide Job. So on a little bit of a different pit schedule. We'll see if it'll work out in his favor.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how just a little bit of 1 lap difference can make for these guys. He will be on fresher tires for the 88, but the 5, if he stays out longer, if it goes in and it goes for those laps, we'll see how it plays out in the end. But Mr. Slide Job hung out there an extra lap. I don't see him hanging out any longer than that, but we'll find out what happens. Let's see if he goes in right here. Yeah, he is definitely going in. So our leader, Mr. Slide Job, will be going in for his pit stall right here, but we're gonna see Jeremy out in the 88. He has already taken his pit stop, so he should be out there clean running. I'm curious what the strategy calls are and what they're thinking is there, J-Mac.
With a lot of time to go, I believe it's 37 laps in this final stage. They're getting 6 laps on fuel. There's one that you're going to want to stretch out to 7 laps to try to make it on 6 runs, a 5-stop race. So I believe maybe Mr. Slide Job went ahead and got his 7-lap run out of the way here, and now he's going to be able to go hard essentially all the way, which if so, that's very impressive that he was able to run those lap times and get that gap that he had on the 88 of Jeremy. But Jeremy going to have to save a lap of fuel there, if those are even the numbers. I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly what these drivers are trying to do. Maybe there isn't really a set number, and they are just kind of getting off sequence there. Jeremy maybe came in a lap early just to have a lap by himself without a rabbit in front of him to focus on his marks and maybe run a faster lap time and force Mr. Slide Job to have a good outlap. But so far running along with that 5 car, running it really hard, missing, maybe pushing just a little hard, but that's what you want to do on these outlaps. He is looking really smooth through the double right, a little wide on the exit, but he's getting all he can right now to try to maintain that gap that he started this pit cycle with.
Absolutely. You can see the distance between the two, and that was a lap difference from going in. And it looks like the 88 is catching Slide Job just a little bit. It's going to be very, very close. I mean, stage 3 is a long one, so we still have plenty of racing left to be had here. But I do want to give a quick shout out to everyone in chat. We've had 3 more followers just within a short amount of time. So thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. I know these guys appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting them. But this race out here for P1, P2, pretty crazy so far. Jeremy in that 88 always takes that pretty wide. Sometimes we've seen him in the grass, but it hasn't seemed to have affected him too terribly much yet here tonight, Money.
No, not really. He's actually been able to shorten that gap. Last I checked, it was 3.5 seconds. So he's gaining some ground on him. Just see if he can keep that aggression along with keeping that on the racetrack. And if he can, it'll be an interesting race to close out.
You know, one thing that has not been on Slide Job's side tonight is lap traffic, and we are coming up on another car that is CRL Sam. He is the leader of Carolina Racing League.
An issue, sorry Frozen, an issue for our second place car, the 88 of Jeremy. Got a little loose off of the corner and is nose first in the wall and is not moving, and he has quit out of the race. He has left this one. And that's that. Mr. Slide Job now basically remains mostly unopposed on his path to victory here.
Man, so unfortunate
I'm wondering if that's
to
a
see.
major lag out.
I don't know if that's a lag out, but you know, I would like to know if we could find that out from him. He was having such a strong night here tonight. So 30 laps to go. There's still plenty of racing left. If I do believe, that makes 10 cars only on track at the moment, and we see Slide Job coming up on Sam. Kind of crazy out here so far, guys.
Almost definitely. I'd say at this point, barring any major issues for the number 5 car, I'd say he'd have this race in the bag. Just so dominant along with the 88 car. Unfortunately, the 88 car either quit out or lagged out. But at this point, I think this is 5 cars race to lose.
Absolutely. Sam lets him go on by. Tonight, I feel like is a matter of survival out here as we see Sam just losing it coming around the corner. Nice save by him as to not get too terribly off track. But luckily that was not in front of Slide Job, because I'll tell you what, he's had a heck of a night with lap traffic directly in front of him. But this is his race at the moment. There is no one around him. So if he can hold on to this for the next 30 laps, and that is a long time, guys, he will be your winner here tonight for the memorial race for GRM Joker 93, of who they lost as a dear friend this weekend. I'm seeing Expert Toaster in that 4 car. He is still out here moving right along. He is a veteran driver out here doing really, really well. So he might be your P2 if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to get a confirmation on that. But very, very close. He's got a car a little bit behind him, possibly a second or two off. But that seems to be the next race out here. And if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be Dill Pickle in that 3. So that is going to be a fight for a P2 in the final part of the stage here. Money, who do you have your eyes on right now?
I'm currently on Dill Pickle, just as you are. Just trying to gauge the gap in between them. Currently about a 2.5 second gap. We'll see what that will be as they cross the start-finish line coming up.
J-Mac, what's going through your mind if your Slide Job out here sitting as the leader, and you know, I don't know if he knows, but I would assume he knows that that the 88 is no longer in the race. What's going through your mind right now?
Don't screw up. That's it. That's the thought right there. Is just hit your marks. You're trying to pull away. You're trying to maintain a gap. You got a good gap. The 2 cars behind you, the 4 and the 3, are showing some good speed here. I mean, they're obviously in podium spots right here. They've shown good speed, good consistency all night, but they just haven't shown the same speed that we saw from the 5 and the 88 and even maybe the 9 during qualifying, even though his race hasn't gone very well. But the 4 and the 3 are really your are really shouldn't even be in his mind at the moment. Those two are going to be battling for position. They're going to have their own fight. They're probably going to get side by side at some point. Just run your race. Again, to reiterate, keep it on the gray stuff. Stay off the green stuff. Don't do any crazy yard work out there. And if there's a lot of laps remaining, but that it's just go out there and try to put up leaderboard times. That's basically it. That's basically the mindset at this point.
You see, Sam went into pit road once again, but you mentioned the 4 and the 3 probably battling it out here, and that's only going to help Slide Job out as he is in the lead if they're going side by side. So far it hasn't happened, but Money, I have a feeling it's going to happen, well, not anytime soon, because the 3 goes off into the sand. And he's going to be way off in the distance, so the 4 has gotten away. He's going to remain P2, and if he can keep it on track, that's going to help him out more.
Most definitely a big mental error on that. I don't know if he missed his brake point or what, or if his car just kicked out. I wasn't on board with him at that time, but yeah, definitely going to help out the 4 car. Should be able to maintain that P2 spot barring any mistakes.
I want to give a shout out to OPI 3030. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Magic Mike, I assume that's what the MGC means. He says Slide Job should have this one in the bag as we have him going on to pit road for a scheduled pit stop. Still a ton of laps left to go, so this race he just needs to get it done. Stay on the road as J-Mac has said, and just get the job done. Worm, I see that. J-Mac, who are you out there watching?
I'm probably just gonna stick with the 4 and the 3 right now, as that's our own battle. Those two coming to pit road, so they're on the exact same strategy, exact same pit sequence. Those two are pretty much the 2 closest cars on the track. The 9 going by, getting some dirt as he exited the final corner, going down the front straight. He's still out there, but the 4 and the 3, that's where I'm watching. I'm watching Expert Toaster to see if he can bring home that 2nd place finish, because right now the 5 of Mr. Slide Job, the only thing that could stop him from winning this race is if he gets beamed up by aliens or lags out or something crazy like that happens.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent here tonight, so as long as he can keep that, he should be good to go, Money.
Yeah, he's definitely got this one in the bag, barring any huge mistakes. Just taking them corners so well, seems to be a little conservative going around those S's, but going around that elevated corner. Yeah, just if any of you guys that don't want to, that don't run road courses very much or very well, this is definitely a guy you want to take some points after, and try to learn his driving habits.
Absolutely. I'm on board with the 24 of Trigger Trezzy, and guess who is behind him? That is Slide Job, our current leader. There's still quite a gap to go, but man, oh man, Slide Job is getting ready to come up on him to put him possibly a lap down. We're going to find out, but it's going to be very tight. I know that he has not had good luck with lap cars, so we're going to see how he manages to get around this, but so far so good. Guys, that is a lot of cars on pit road. I gotta say a huge props to all these guys that are hanging out here. Very technical track, very hard track. So for these guys to be still hanging out here, we still have our pole sitter, actually, CRL Sam. You can see the amount of damage that he has, and he is still out here. Missed pit road, did not go for stage 2, I do believe that was, so he had to pull over, and that definitely cost him, but these guys are doing a great job, even still being here tonight.
Definitely huge props to these guys that have showed up tonight, even though this is not a league showdown sanctioned race. Just a good, at this point, it's all about having fun out here. As clocked Slide Job running a 121.5, so definitely a fast lap from him.
Yeah, that guy really nails those turns and does a fantastic job. So if he can keep that up, like we said, he is going to be the winner here tonight. Cape says that's a lot of cars that quit. You know, some, I don't know if they were lag outs, but like I said, these guys came out here to a memorial race for their friend. They did that in a 100% race. That is a long race here at Mid-Ohio. So like I said, a huge props to them. They're doing a great job, J-Mac.
They are doing a great job, and then to reiterate what y'all have just said, we have 7 drivers currently still in the race right now after the number we started with. So huge props to these guys who have stuck with it. The races some of them have had, the number of times we've seen them in the wall, they're going to have some nightmares probably more than good dreams about this place. They're going to be seeing this turn 1 and the keyhole in the heavy braking zone. They're going to see all that in their sleep, causing them to toss and turn and waking up and lightning will flash out there. It's just going to be incredibly frightening. But again, huge props to these 7 drivers who have stuck with it, who have continued to race in this memorial race, and we'll see how many can make it to the finish. Hopefully, all of them do. This is some good practice for road course racing, and definitely be a test of their focus and mental stamina for sure.
Yeah, Money, I don't know about you, but this race I feel like will either really make you love Mid-Ohio or make it so you're not wanting to look at it for a very long time.
Yeah, I would agree. From a beginner's point of view on road courses, I would definitely not be keen to run 100% races here. Definitely want to get some 4% lap practice in before you actually go out into stiff competition like this. So props to these guys. These guys obviously have put a lot of time in here. Some of the results may not show up for some of these guys, but overall, some fairly good driving out of the drivers that still remain.
You know, and a lot of these guys, they just got notified today, like some of them offered to race just today, so they don't have a lot of track time coming out here. So for that, they're doing a really great job. But you see Nova 1 Alpha out here, still hanging in there. I gotta give him props in that 98 car, which you guys heard at the beginning. That was one of the cars that GRM Joker drove back in his league races. So this is just part of the memorial for him. People driving the cars that he did. Really cool to see as we have 22 to go. You guys, there's still tons of racing left, and there's so much gap in between these cars. I mean, it really is just a matter of just stick with what you got and don't make any mistakes.
Just to put into comparison on how dominant Slide Job has been throughout this entire race. Again, before I said Slide Job ran a 1:21.5. I was on board with Toaster for an entire lap, and he ran a 1:23.2. So definitely a lot more speed from Mr. Slide Job. As he is just dominated this race course.
Absolutely. I'm not even sure what I can get here. It's been a while since I've ran this track as far as knowing what times I personally can get here. But Slide Job, he's just doing a great job. His times are just on it. And so far, no one can keep up with him. So he's got a lot going for him as far as that goes. As long as he can keep it on track, he is good to go. But still a lot of laps left. And once those tires get worn out, and if you start getting tired out there, mistakes will happen, and we've seen it from a few, but so far, not from him. So J-Mac, as long as he can keep that out there, he's good to go.
Yep, as long as he can keep it out there, not lag out, not wreck, keep it on the gray stuff, keep it off the green. Mr. Slide Job gonna take it home, but he is putting on a clinic right now. A little bit, it looked a little iffy there in the second stage, but then with the issues the 88 had here in the third stage, that's pretty much pretty thoroughly put him out in front, and there's really no resistance to what's gonna happen beyond something crazy or fluky or just an absolute meltdown.
Yeah, I really wish I saw the 88 hang out there because he was so fast and great competition for him. So it's really unfortunate to see him leave the race like that. I don't know if he left the race or lagged out, but either way, to not see him on track right now, it's a bummer because he was doing such a great job out there, Money.
Yeah, he definitely was. He was definitely very aggressive, very fast, and was able to make everything stick. Basically run wherever he wanted. He definitely would have gave Slide Job a run for his money.
I'm on board with the number 3 of Dill Pickle, and he was just coming back on track, so he must have lost it coming off of the turn. Managed to get back on there, but he was one that was in the hunt for 3rd place at the time. There was 3 of them in a pack. That has since vanished, and these guys are literally, all of them are on their own as they are on their little island, on their own little island. There's no one around them. If I do believe that is Slide Job coming off of pit road, looks like it is. So another pit stop down for him. We're gonna see what these other guys do out here, J-Mac.
As I'm riding alongside the number 5 car, just to put in perspective on how big his lead is right now, I clocked at a 24-second gap between him and Toaster, and right now number 3 hasn't even gone in for his scheduled stop, and you see the number 5 car just retake the lead. So definitely a huge gap that these drivers have to deal with in terms of competing with Slide Job.
That is absolutely impressive. If 24-second lead here, so that just shows how consistent he is as the 3 of Dill Pickle goes off the track once again around the turn. Just unfortunate, but he is still hanging in there. Let's see if we can get on track with him. Yeah, we see him on board. He is going very slowly. J-Mac, is he out of fuel? It looks like he might be, and this may be the end of him if he cannot nurse it all the way back around the track.
Yeah, he is definitely out of fuel. Either that or he cooked the engine somehow, how shifting, but I don't know if this game would actually do that to you. But yeah, he's in a very interesting spot still going forward here. The 4 already having passed him, but that's a big issue for the 3. I think the game will allow him, like once it gets down low enough, maybe it'll keep him at about 30 miles an hour. I get all of my games confused when what happens when you run out of fuel, because I've, run out of fuel in a lot of games, in a lot of races. But the 3, he's, I think he'll be able to make it to pit road, but this is going to be a massive loss of track position. And if he is not ghosted by the time one of these cars comes around to this blind double right-hander, that could be a big issue. But it looks like he's going to make it safely and, if not a bit slowly, to pit road, put some fuel in it, and make it to the end of this race. But look,
he's made it on pit road here, and there he goes. Let's take a look at Slide Job as he is going through the next corner here. It looks like he's coming around past pit road, so Dill Pickle lost a lot of time there. Mr. Slide Job, I don't know what else to say about this guy. He's just on it, and we still got some racing left. Anything is possible, but if he can hang on to it, he's definitely got it tonight there, Money. Apparently I have disconnected, so we'll try to get back in that lobby. J-Mac, if you can hear me, send me a party invite. We'll try to get back in there. You guys just hang on for a second. We'll get back in there. We'll wait for them to get an invite, but yeah. Let's see. We'll see what they say. Yeah. We'll get an invite. Let's take a look at that 4 car. He's coming up on the Dill Pickle. We'll see how he maneuvers around him. The 4 car should be in second. Oh, the Dill Pickle! That is such a treacherous turn there. Four's gonna get some damage from him. It's gonna be pretty close there. I'm getting an invite, so we'll see what that happens. All right, we're back on board. I was just looking at Expert Toaster in that 4. He had Dill Pickle wreck out directly in front of him, which is gonna give the 4 some damage. Rough time on that right there. J-Mac, let's make sure I have a copy with you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't know what happened there. That's crazy.
Everything broke.
Apparently. That's how the servers go. It's crazy. Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Slide Job is doing a great job out there, but I don't know if you guys caught that with Toaster, but very close. Guarantee's gonna have some right front damage there from when Dill Pickle lost it around that turn. That's gonna hurt him a little bit. J-Mac, who are you watching right now?
I'm currently still fixated on the 3 of the Dill Pickle after he had the slowest lap of the evening, driving around at about 30 miles an hour. But he's behind the 4. He's still really close to the 4. I assume that is not for position anymore. Just judging, I'm trying to use logic. I would imagine the 4 now a complete lap ahead of the 3 of the Dill Pickle. And yeah, that's basically it for all of the battles on the track. The 24 all by himself right now. Let's cycle through all the cars that are currently on the pit road. The 9, our pole sitter, CRL Sam, he's all by himself as he's about to take he's cross the checkered line to complete another lap, go into turn 1 here, and try not to use too much of that curb, as he uses a lot of the curb and a lot of the grass there on exit and almost wrecks it. But there's the 5 of Mr. Slide Job all by himself, really setting sail and letting everybody know he's the fastest car still on the track. And that's basically it. The 4 has the 3 behind him, but like I said, there's really no chance there that they are on the same lap. So just watching some guys make some laps.
Pretty much, Money. I don't know about you, but I see the 4 out here. He's got CRL Sam in front of him. I know the 9 car has had a little bit of a hard time, but if you were Sam, what are you thinking right now? What's your strategy going forward?
I think at this point, just race as hard as you can with the amount of laps that you have left, and hopefully something happens where you can get back into contention and hopefully get a podium spot. Not sure if he's a lap down or if he's still on the lead lap. I believe, wasn't he the vehicle that did not take the pit on after stage 2, or
Yes.
is that somebody else?
I do believe that was him, yes. I think
So
I need to get like a confirmation, but it might be only 2 or 3 cars on the lead lap. We'll have to see if I can get confirmation on that and a lap count, but so far it looks like it's just going to be Slide Job in first position and Expert Toaster in P2. Dill Pickle in that 3, he's still hanging out there. We've seen an incident with him coming off of a turn and losing it just a little bit right in front of Toaster, but he is still out there moving along, doing a great job as they're coming up on this close right-hander here. He gets a little wide into the grass, but he's going to hang on to it as he is still behind Expert Toaster in that 4 car, J-Mac.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't able to hear what you said there, but I apologize for missing it. I've been kind of watching along with the 98 of Nova 1 Alpha, because whenever I went through all the drivers that were still on track, I missed him. So congrats to Nova 1 Alpha for still being out there and looking pretty smooth out there. Got a nice looking a ride that looks like the old Wood Brothers car, well, the current Wood Brothers car, but still got a nice classic speed scheme with the old red and white with the gold numbers. It's a nice looking car, and I imagine that did not at all segue with what you tried to segue into me saying, but that's what I got for you.
It's all good. It's all good. We had a Slide Job who got in the party and on pit road at the same time. He is back on track and still in the lead here, so doing a great job. Money, what do you have over there?
I'm riding along with Slide Job, trying to see what lap times he's putting up. Unofficially, I have down at a 120.8. Again, unofficial, I might have been off by a few tenths in that, but still putting together very consistent and fast lap times.
Absolutely. The guy is doing such an incredible job tonight. I spoke to him earlier in the week, and he was talking about road courses and stuff, and he's just really good at them, really enjoys them, and it shows here on track. I was talking about the track that we have coming up, and our track is Road America. I'm not a great road course racer, and I was telling him my times, and he's just like, oh... Yeah, I mean, he really nails it on these road courses, knows the ins and outs of them, and one of these days, hopefully, I'll become a little bit better, but until then, it's just really impressive to watch these guys out on track.
Yeah, you're right there. Coming from my experience, I have little to no experience with road courses. I've raced on Watkins Glen quite a few times, have taken some pointers from a few drivers that I run league with, and learned a lot, but still I'm about 5 seconds off the pace that those guys are running. So one, you got to want to do it, you got to want to be good at these type of courses, and two, you just have to get that muscle memory or execution, have that just have that capability of being able to perform consistently each time you race one of these courses.
Absolutely. And then you have J-Mac, who wins almost every road course he comes in contact with. J-Mac, if I'm not mistaken, the Roval race, it's one of those that you've won every race that you've hit the track at. Is that the Roval, perhaps?
Yes, the Charlotte Roval on Heat 4, we ran Shake and Bake there, and I won that one. We ran East Park Trucks there, the setup league, the big setup league that runs the truck series, won there, and then for East Park Cup, which is highly touts itself as the biggest setup league on Xbox, managed to pull off a last corner pass there, and win that one. So that's pretty cool. That's enough back padding for myself. It feels kind of awkward, but yeah. I have a good record at the Roval. Here at Mid-Ohio, I actually run several races here as well, but have not been able to pull off a victory, even though this is, I think, while the Roval is probably my best track, I think this one might be my favorite one, just because of the challenge it provides. But never been able to win a race here. Hopefully, some league somewhere I get the opportunity to change that. But still love this place. Still think it's fun, and we've had some good runs here. And yeah, so that's enough back padding, and I feel like I strained my arm doing that. And back to you, Frozen.
We have 12 laps to go, so I'd like to say not too terribly long here. If Slide Job can hang on to it, we've said it the entire stage 3, and once again I will say that I am really sad to see as Slide Job slides off the track into the grass, makes his way back on, but honestly it's just not gonna hurt him too much with how minor that was. And Expert Toaster, which I do believe is the next one behind him, you don't even see him behind him, so he's got a lot of time to make that up and just gather himself back on track, so he should be good to go, Money.
Yeah, it should be good to go as he is coming up toward the end of his lap here, getting a gauge of how far back Expert Toaster is at this point of the race, but already at 30 seconds so far, and he hasn't even gone around the final corner yet. So yeah, I'd say Slide Job has in the bag, but hey, props to Expert Toaster. He's been keeping on the track pretty well today. Had a few battles that he was able to come out on top of, and he's going to take home a very well-deserved P2.
Absolutely. I mean, he's doing an excellent job out there. He's got CRL Sam directly behind him. I do believe he's probably a lap down for Sam. But Expert Toaster is in P2 and doing a great job out there. He just needs to hang on to it and keep doing what he's doing and keep it on track, keep the consistency, and he'll be taking a podium finish home tonight for Mid-Ohio, J-Mac.
Yeah, still a long way to go, but Mr. Slide Job in the driver's seat of this race completely. The 4 of Expert Toaster, we believe, is the second place car. He seems to be about a half the racetrack behind, so a massive gap. He could wreck it, and he could come in and pit and probably still come out with the racing lead. Actually, the 24, I'm hearing over the radio from our esteemed Canadian colleague, he is currently the second place car. He is headed to pit road though, so he's on a little bit of a different sequence, it seems, than some of these other guys. I'm not really sure what the strategy is, but either way, just a massive lead for the 5 car, and it's all that's remaining is us finishing this race and making it a formality at some point that we crown the 5 of Mr. Slide Job as the champion of this race. There goes several drivers by. The 4 goes by the 24 right here on track. Actually, we got a slew of cars that have managed to find each other. There's only, as we said, I believe 6 or 7 of them out there, but 3 in close proximity to each other, and I believe all 3 are on different laps, but hey, they're close, so let's try to find them.
Yeah, we have the 4 car of Toaster, and he's got Sam that is closing the gap. Made it all the way up to his bumper, then kind of backed off a little bit. And you see a car in the distance that might be Trigger Trezzy. I'd have to take a look back there. He's got quite the gap between those guys. But as long as the 4 car can hang out and keep out of trouble with Sam in that number 9, he should be good to go, Money.
Yeah, he's about 48 seconds back from the leader of Mr. Slide Job. So last time I checked, that was 24 seconds the last time I looked back on those guys. So Slide Job just extending that lead, but 4 car just keeping that car on the pavement, not making any mistakes. So he should be sitting in fairly good position as long as he continues that.
Absolutely. We're on board with the 5 car, and he's just still doing a great job out here, getting those lap times that he needs. And as you heard from Money, he's got quite the gap between him and second place, so he just needs to continue on, keep the consistency, nail pit road, and he should be good to go as long as he doesn't get any penalties or anything else. And so far here tonight, he has not, so he should be good to go to take the win here tonight. Here he goes on to pit road, where let's see if Expert Toaster makes his way on pit road, but yeah, we should have about 10 laps to go in the race here for the finish at Mid-Ohio, and just even on the screen you see 3 cars on the track, so not too much of a distance. I say that, but it kind of really is. I mean, it's just crazy how that goes, but the 4 car taking that turn pretty wide still hangs out on track. He looks good to go, J-Mac.
Looks good to go. Just gotta keep it on the gray stuff. I gotta say it one more time for everyone at home, just for charity's sake or simplicity's sake or continuity's sake, whatever it is, whatever sake it is. The 5 of Mr. Slide Job heads out onto the track, gonna drive down into the keyhole, hit his marks, and just try to keep it on the grass and not wreck himself to the point that he kills that radiator or engine, especially early in the track where he has to baby the thing around and lose a lot of time because, again, he has such a massive lead. We see a car on another lap just now going through turn 1 across the grass from where he was driving, so just a massive lead on the field right now. What is stuck around in the field and working his way through the S's, letting off the gas, easy on the throttle, working his way, pedaling it as he goes through the S's here. Gonna go through the double right, swing out just a little bit to make this corner, maybe a little too much, misses the apex, but that's not gonna hurt him too bad. It's an outlap anyway. So yeah, that's the 5 working his way around and ever so closer. He's now another lap closer to victory.
And as I spoke to Slide Job earlier, this is his second race. He had just gotten done with one of his league races directly before this, so his track time today is unreal. So he's probably mentally worn down at this point. 6 cars in the race, so not a lot of cars left out on track. So huge props, I'll say it again, huge props to the guys that have remained here, Money.
Yeah, just to put in perspective, just to add on to Slide Job's track time, a lot of leagues ask their drivers to prepare for the course that is ahead. So my personal routine is I get off work at 4:30. I have 4 hours to 4 hours to get ready for my league race. I take about 4 hours of that to 4 hours to 3.5 hours, I should say, to get my practice time in, and then the last 30 minutes I like to shut down the system for a little bit, get some food, reset my mind a little bit, and then mentally get prepared for the league race. So just the amount of time he's currently spent today, not only probably preparing for his league race and running that race, and then adding on to this race, I'd say he's probably got about 7-8 hours on today.
Easily. And that doesn't even count the amount of time that he spent just trying to get this race to happen for his good friend. So I know a lot of communication between him and everyone else who is trying to make this thing happen. So this is a busy fella out here. Huge props to him for doing so well tonight. Just shows what he can do on track there. But Expert Toaster, you see a little bit of action in front of him. He has 2 cars, that is Sam and also the 98 directly in front of him. This seems to be the race going on right now. I'm not even sure that they're on the same lap as the 98 directly goes off track, and you guys have seen it so many times tonight. That specific turn has been treacherous for so many drivers out here. It's even affected Toaster a couple of laps ago. So it just shows you how difficult these turns can be, and once you're doing them so many times, mentally you just get worn out, and you really have to stay on top of it, J-Mac.
Yeah, you have to stay on top of it. As we've said, this is a very mental race. We're coming down to the closing laps. These guys have been going at this for 2 hours now. A tough racetrack, just you just got to stay in it mentally, make your way around. If you've come this far, you want to finish the race, you want to finish it as cleanly as possible, put up the best lap time you can, and walk away with this one feeling good about yourself, feeling proud with that at least by the end of this race that you had learned and grown as a man a little bit, as the 98 has been able to stay with the 4 here. He struggled a lot for this race, but again, that's a good looking car, that red and white scheme. Staying with the 4 here, looking really smooth, as now he's off in the grass in the kink, which is pretty easy to do. You're trying to run that tight, and sometimes you can stick a wheel off and get a little loose, but looks pretty good through the right-hander. Now through the left-hander, they're all looking really smooth here. The 4 actually, as Expert Toaster, started off the race maybe a little tough, but remember at the beginning of the stage, he was able to work his way to the lead for a short amount of time, and right now it looks like the 4 has gotten stronger as the race has gone along, but well ahead of the 98, well ahead of anyone else that he's battling, which would be the 24 and the 3, and I don't know if the 3 is even on the same lap as him anymore. So just a lot of learning and growing as human beings over the course of this race, and right now they're working down to the end of it. We're really close to the end.
We are really close to the end, and from what I'm hearing over the radio, he's about 5 seconds from lapping him, so getting very, very close there. So it's going to be pretty tight, but not too many laps here, probably around 5, I would say. 5 laps to go for the race. It's coming down to the wire here, and Slide Job is just looking so strong right now. You can see a couple of cars out directly ahead of him, but man oh man, what a long night for these guys. A great night. They're doing a great job out here.
Yeah, doing an excellent job, keeping it very consistent. Takes that corner a little bit wide, got his tires in the grass, was able to maintain control as he's coming up on the number 3 car. Just very impressive on how well these drivers have been able to handle this racetrack.
Yeah, these guys keep taking turns. All three of them are very close together, but Mr. Slide Job, we're going to see how he maneuvers around these guys. Quickly approaching as we see the 98 get a little loose. He comes back on track. The 3 is directly right on his bumper, and Slide Job is going to be coming up on these two, and there's not a lot of places to go, but they seem to get over on the side. We'll see if he can make it past him. Gonna be close, a little bit of contact there, a little bit of action for these guys. Man, very, very close. Still the 3 and the 98 are just all over each other. The 98 takes it too wide, goes into the sand. Slide Job gets on by, and he goes past both of them.
Yeah, that was really exciting to see a little bit of wake-up juice for Slide Job, get a little action in before this race comes to an end. He's been out by himself the majority of this race. So as a driver, you sometimes kind of want to see that as you're running one of these longer races, just to kind of keep your mind in the game and focus up a little bit. So I'm sure that woke him up a little bit, and I'm sure he's now he's going to push to get this race over with.
Absolutely. That probably gave him a little bit of an adrenaline rush to get through the final parts of this race here. So not too much longer to go, and we'll get the top 3 here. Podium finishers in the booth. Give him an interview for this memorial race for GRM Joker. The 24 of Trigger Trezzy is in second. 5 is on pit road. This is going to be the final stop of the night of the race. So it's going to be pretty close here. Hopefully we can get a lap count out here, but let's take a look at Expert Toaster as he is still on track behind the 24. As much as these guys are separated by laps, they are still pretty close together on track there, Money.
Yeah, they are definitely still competing, even though it might not be exactly for position. They still want to go out there, compete against their fellow drivers. Obviously, in a points race where every position counts, they would be a little bit more relaxed in letting those cars in the lead let go by. But I like what I'm seeing. I'm liking the action. We're still getting some good action-packed racing with the amount of cars that we have on this track. So it's something that's pleasant to see.
Absolutely. We see Toaster out here in the 4, directly behind the 24. Looks like the 24 will be in second. 4 car of Expert Toaster is in third. We're going to see what it comes down to, but these guys are close enough where things could change at any moment. We just have to stay tuned to see what happens.
Yeah, this is a really good battle brewing here between the 24 of Trigger Treasy and the 4 of Expert Toaster. Expert Toaster trying to run him down, and these two have been pretty inseparable since the drop of the green for this final third stage. But another thing is that it's getting to the point. Slide Job is lapping so many cars, and he's almost to the point where he's lapped the entire field. Is you start racing for pride, because you don't want to finish a lap down in a race this long at a track this big. So the 24 and the 4, they want to beat each other, but I think they also just want to make lap time, work their way, around the track, keeping all 4 tires on the pavement. And apparently this is the last lap, from what I heard. So, all right, they're not gonna get lapped.
Not gonna get lapped, and we see Slide Job. He just looks like he is just on it. You can see him entering that turn pretty hard there, making his way through the S's and coming around the left-hand turn here, which has been so treacherous tonight, but he is on his way to win this race for the memorial race for GRM Joker. Great job to him tonight, and we'll see who finishes second out here. Let's see if we can get a count. Go ahead.
as I said, they're still pushing. The 4 drove off the track there in turn 1, trying to make a last dash push to get to the 24. So there's definitely still a lot of effort on the racetrack, but now it seems like there's something wrong with the 4s. He has really fallen back.
Yeah, we have Slide Job as the winner here at Mid-Ohio. He has taken the checkered flag. Great job by him. Let's see if we can get Expert Toaster and Trigger Trezzy. Let me see if I can find him. Trigger Trezzy should be taking home P2 podium finish, and we should get Toaster across the line for P3. Let's bring him on home. We have Trigger Trezzy coming around the right-hand turn here. Not too much to go, just a left-hander, and he will take home P2. Great job for these guys tonight. They have really hung in there. Super, super long race. There he is, P2. Great job for him. And let's see if we can get... I want to get
And I'd also
Expert
like to point
Toaster.
out the 3 currently out of fuel. He is shaking the car back and forth, so much like earlier on in the race, the 3 of the Dill Pickle has run out of gas. He is trying to make it to the end here and finish this race. Because, you know, after being on the track for this long, you across the start-finish line.
Yeah, these guys did a great job. Oh my goodness.
Slide Job, what's up, man? What you out there doing, bro? What you got in your gear? You gotta let me know. That man was out there. I figured, man, I'm not good on these road courses, so I figured if I save some fuel, I'd be able to get you, man. But you were so damn good on those 6 laps, the fuel was out the window.
Yeah, it was. I was watching that, and I figured I needed a last pit stop there, and I said, well, if I'm 40 seconds ahead, I can take it. So
Yeah,
I
you're
took
good.
it.
I tried my hardest to keep you within 20, and I figured if he was with 20 or 30 seconds, I'd be good. But he was out there.
Slide Job.
Thank you for finishing.
Yeah, you guys did a
Sorry.
great job. It was such a long night for you guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. Slide Job, congratulations on the win. Take us through the final stage, and I know it was a long night, a long race. What was your thoughts going in there?
Man, you know, it wasn't even the distance. That was probably the most emotional race I've ever raced. I don't think I won that. Joker won that. You know, just driving his car, and I just did those last 5 laps. I was all over the place because I was started to tear up because it just meant so much to me that I could put his car in victory lane. I know he was watching the whole time, so it was
Absolutely.
it was definitely rough. But yeah, the 88 was awesome. You know, me and him had so much fun. You know, he was super fast, and I hated to see whatever happened. But I just want to say that I appreciate all the drivers that finished that race and the commentators for that. It meant so much, and I'm sure a lot of people were watching that was close to Joker, and I hope it meant as much to them too.
There was a lot of guys out there supporting you guys, not only you guys, but also GRM Joker, and remembering him on and off the track. From what I hear, he was a really terrific guy. So great job out there racing for your friend. You did amazing, and great job out there.
Thank you.
All right, J-Mac, you want to give Trigger Trezzy an interview? He took home second. Had a heck of a race out there, so I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, had a heck of a race. A pretty quiet one, kind of snuck up on us there in that 3rd stage, but stayed around the front, battled around the 4 and the 3 for a while. The 3 had some issues, but talk about your race, your finish, your strategy, and holding off the 4 of Expert Toaster there at the end.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not no road course ringer. I'm a middle of the pack guy, so I figure as long as I kept it on the track, hit my marks, and saved a little bit of fuel, I'll be able to sneak some positions like you said. So the mindset was just stay on the track, stay consistent, and finish where you can. I figured I had top 10 cars, so as long as I came home top 10, I was pretty good. So coming home second, you know, with Toaster in there, Sam and all them guys, it's a pleasure to race with them.
Well, you've had a real strong performance tonight. I know this is an emotional race. one that had a lot of meaning, and you showed yourself very well tonight, coming home P2.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for the broadcast, and it was an honor being this tribute race. So GRM Joker.
Absolutely.
Rose, over to you.
All right, do we still have Money in? Yes, Money, if you want to go ahead and give Expert Toaster, he came home on the podium, did a great job, so let's get him an interview if you would.
Congratulations, Toaster, on a P3 performance. You ran a very consistent race today, put up some fast lap times. Actually, a lot of you guys ran pretty fast lap times. Just looking at the leaderboard, for you took home the 8th fastest time of the day today. So, really strong performance. How do you feel your race went? And tell us what you did well and what you maybe have not done so well at.
It was a great race. My thoughts and prayers with the family for Joker. I didn't, honestly, I don't know that I've even raced with him, but I know people that have. So, you know, Frozen, J-Mac, it's good to hear you guys again. It's been a few minutes.
It has.
It has, hasn't it? The race, you know, they told me it was a mile and a half.
You were looking good out there, though. You did good. I was proud of you.
I practice it. You know I don't run road courses for the most part, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoy racing with Sam and his guys and everybody in the race. Slide job, you know, he had that, you know, I don't know if he had that extra long fuel line or what it was, nitrous oxide or something, but he was gone. It was a good race. I mean, there was only one stage where I actually stretched it past 6 laps. I went 7 laps. Trigger, I think he was getting 7 or 8 laps on a run, which, you know, couldn't beat that.
Right.
But, you know, I just tried to be consistent and keep it on the track. That was it.
Well, you guys all did a great job, and it was for a great friend that you guys have lost. So I know everyone really appreciates it. All coming together for Memorial Race for GRM Joker. If you can, I did put that link out there in chat. If you would like to donate, I know their family would appreciate it, and I know they're going through a really rough time right now. So anything does help. Your prayers, your thoughts and prayers. If you want to donate, I know they would appreciate it. But it was great having everyone come out here tonight to put this race on. Huge thanks to Slide Job for once again coming out and putting everything together. I know everyone really appreciates it.
Where's the link, Frozen?
Let me put it out there again.
Can't hear it.
Yeah, on Twitch? Okay, got it.
Yes, it's on Twitch. But Slide Job, I'm not sure if you have anything else to say, but
did you wanna just give a quick interview to Nova, one of the other guys that finished the race? I think he's still in here.
absolutely, Nova. We saw you out on track, and you're such a trooper hanging in there. Tell us a little bit about how your race went. I know we saw you getting a little loose out there. Tell us a little bit how it went.
Yeah. Some road courses I'm not the greatest at, and Mid-Ohio proved that it was, I just hit the bump barely, my car goes on 2 wheels and decides to spin out. I've done that multiple times. I went off the track multiple times. It was just, but yeah, I just stayed in there, was patient enough to finish this 100% race, because, well, I am in a league that does 100% races, so I at least have the time and patience to do it. But this was for a good cause, because Joker, he was a pretty good racer when he raced with us on Homestead. Was up there battling. Barely knew him, but I knew he was a good racer, and he will be missed, and thoughts and prayers are to his family.
Absolutely, very well said. For you guys, once again, I put that link out there if you were interested. In the end, thank you so much for tuning in. It was for GRM Joker. he's going to be missed by everybody. So we really appreciate you coming out. That is the end for us. 100% race. These guys are amazing. So we appreciate you cheering them on and remembering also GRM Joker. That is it for us tonight. Thank you guys for coming out, and we'll see you next time. Anytime. You guys did good. All right, take it easy. It is, actually. It's just on the credits. It was a very long race. You guys did good, though.